It's time for Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Well, it may not be your picture-perfect afternoon for baseball, but the Whitecaps and the Red Sox are ready to go at it here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. The sky is cloudy, the wind is raging in from center field right toward us behind home plate. But the Whitecaps and Red Sox looking to get this ball game in as they both start to make their final preparations for the Cape League postseason. Carter Woodeel and Maura Sheridan here with you. Aiden Doyle will be joining us in just a little bit. And Maura, Brewster is coming off a grinded-out win in last night's ball game. They were in Bourne over by the bridge out there near the Cape Cod Canal, beat the Braves 7-6. It was really, the team was short-staffed. They'd used 6 pitchers the night before against Wareham when they had clinched the playoff spot, and it feels like that was one of those games that really says something about a team, Maura.
Well, when I was talking to Jamie Shevchik after the game, he was very excited about how that game went. He put in a lot of guys that haven't had a lot of playing time this season, like the Devin Foyles, Darius Hill, guys that had a specific role on the team, usually coming in substitution positions, but he was very happy with how they played, especially offensively, and were able to win a high-scoring game there on the road, and that's 2 big wins in a row against Wareham and Bourne, and that's just going into the postseason strong. And if they can continue this, Jamie Shevchik is very excited about this team and their playoff chances.
Yeah, we know all 4 of the teams that are going to be in the playoffs in the Eastern Division. It's going to be Orleans, YD, Chatham, and Brewster. We don't know what the order is going to be for any of those teams, but those are the 4 that are in. Harwich, their season's going to end once the regular season comes to a close. And you're right, Maura, Jamie Shevchik is putting together a bit of a different lineup compared to the way that he has the rest of his season. Let's listen to the Brewster Whitecaps lineup for this evening's ball game.
Infield, University of Maryland. Christian Molfetta, infielder, Stanford.
Hunter Bishop, outfielder, Arizona State.
Julian Fonte, infield, Vanderbilt.
Darius Hill, outfielder, West Virginia University.
Zach Gahagan, play every position on the field except bench. D, University of North Carolina.
Devin Foyle, outfielder from University of Kansas.
Justin Coons, catcher, the Gardner-Webb University.
Connor Smith, infield, Western Michigan University.
All right, so to recap, that is Dunn, Molfetta, Bishop, Infante, Hill, Gahagan, Foyle, Coons, Smith for the Brewster Whitecaps. Again, a bit of a different look than what we're used to seeing in terms of everyday guys. There's no Mickey Gasper in this lineup. There's no Steele Walker in this lineup. But Nick Dunn is back. He's getting the half a day off today. He's the DH for the Whitecaps, and he has been on a tear, Maura.
Yeah, Nick Dunn on a 14-game hitting streak, and so Jamie Shevchik probably won't take him out of the lineup unless that changes, so wants to keep that going for one of the best offensive players on this Brewster team, and just trying to get some other guys in. He told me when we were talking yesterday that he's going to give Mickey Gasper and Steele Walker as limited playing time as possible. He doesn't want them to get cold, so he'll get them at bats, but he's not looking to force anything, and he's just looking to rest guys like Gasper and Steele Walker because he wants them totally rested for playoff time.
And Jamie Shevchik, as we know more, is not a manager who is afraid to empty out his bench over the course of a ball game. So I'm sure as he tries to even out the playing time as best he can, kind of play that little chess match, we might see our scorecards get a little bit more colorful as this game moves on, of course, depending on how the score looks. On the other side of the ball, Brewster will be trotting out Drew Revenot for his first start of the year. He and the starter for YD, Andrew Cazada, both have in common the fact that they haven't made a start on the Cape League this season before. What should Whitecaps fans expect from Drew Revenot? We haven't seen a lot of him this year.
Yeah, he's only pitched 4 2/3 inning, all in relief, as you mentioned. He gave up 6 hits, but has struck out 7, only allowed 1 walk. So he does have a lot of control on the mound. We've seen it, but he's just prone to giving up hits. And every time, it's hard to tell because every time he's come in, it really has been tough situations for him as a reliever. So this should be interesting, his first start. But as Jamie Shevchik has told me before, he's not expecting anything huge, not expecting a shutout, just wants him to go in there and get probably at least 5 innings, maybe even 6, because as we've talked about, they had to use 6 pitchers against Wareham, so they are a little bit depleted right now.
But thanks to Bradley Spooner grinding things out, getting 6 frames for Brewster last night, they only used him and Jonathan Stever in last night's game, so the folks who Jamie Shevchik trusts to go in after a day of rest are available for Brewster. Really meant a lot that Bradley Spooner was able to get that done. Here's the lineup that Drew Revenue will face for the YD Red Sox. It's a good one. Starting off with Nico Horner at second base. He'll lead things off. Batting second is Kyle Isbell. He'll be in center field for YD. Alfonso Rivas bats third and will be in left field. Carlos Cortez is the cleanup hitter. He'll be in right field for the Red Sox. Christian Koss is hitting fifth, playing third base. The first baseman, Drew Mendoza, will hit sixth. Nick Quintana is the designated hitter for YD this evening, batting seventh. Connor Kaiser, the shortstop, hits eighth. And Darren Trainer will finish things up in the lineup for the Red Sox. He'll be behind the plate doing the catching for Andrew Cazado. What stands out to you on this 9 that Scott Pickler is going to be trotting out, Maura?
Well, honestly, it's pretty much this entire lineup because it's the same as we've seen almost every game that Brewster's played YD, and that's not this. We can't say the same about the Whitecaps. They have a lot of substitutions, whereas this is a lineup that the YD Red Sox would put up in probably almost any situation. So this is the best of the best for the Red Sox. We see Nico Horner, who's homered off of the Whitecaps, and so has Carlos Cortez. So these are guys that it should be a tough matchup for Drew Revenue in his first start.
Over the course of this Cape League season, Brewster has defeated every single team on the Cape, except for this one, the YD Red Sox. Whitecaps with their last chances. It'll be the last time that these two teams play in the regular season this year. When we come back, we'll get you set a little bit more on that pitching matchup, and we'll go straight to some baseball here at Stony Brook Field. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. Back at Stony Brook Field, the ceremonial first pitches have just been taken care of, and it looks like Drew Revenue is getting ready to start off his warm-up tosses on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps. We are here at Stony Brook Field. Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan here with you. The Whitecaps and the YD Red Sox getting set to take each other on. An important game for playoff seeding for both of these clubs, but with both of them having their ticket punched already to the postseason, it kind of changes the way that folks will be handling this. Is there anything else? We talked a little bit about it in the pregame, Maura, about what this start means for Drew Revenue. What do you think the game plan is as a whole for Jamie Shevchik, how he's going to handle his pitchers today?
I think he's hoping Drew Revenue can go as long as he can, because regardless of the fact that they used 6 pitchers 2 days ago, it's still playoff time, and he wants to rest guys. He's told me before that he really doesn't even expect to start Tony Losi until playoffs, so he's just going to throw out a kind of random starting rotation, and so he's expecting 6 innings from these guys, regardless of the fact that he's never started in the Cape League, and he hasn't been on the team for very long, but I think the expectation is the same as for any starter for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, Jamie Shevchik has always preached getting length out of his starting pitcher. Just a few more tosses for Revenue. The Whitecaps are wearing their traditional home jerseys, white predominantly, with Whitecaps written in teal across the front, and the sleeves are teal and black trimmed, are the Whitecaps uniforms today. YD is wearing their red alternate unis with white pants, the all-red top and the YD logo on the right side of the uniform, and black numbers on the back. And with just one more warm-up pitch set for Drew Revenue. Let's get you set on the defense that's going to be behind him today. In the outfield, it'll be Devin Foyle in left, Hunter Bishop in center, and Darius Hill in right. In the infield, third to first, it's Zach Gehagen, Connor Smith, Christian Malfetta, and Julian Infante. And Justin Coons, a terrific defensive catcher, will be behind the plate for Brewster. So Nico Horner will start things off for the Red Sox as we're getting ready to start the top of the first inning here in Brewster. YD at 24-13-1 on the year. The Whitecaps are 18-19-2 so far on the season. For Brewster, just 5 games left in the year, and YD only has 6. The pitch to the right-hander. Misses low to start this ball game off. 1-0 the count on the righty swinging Nico Horner. Horner so far this year hitting .291 with a .351 on base percentage. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It misses low to make the count 2-0. He has spent a lot of time in the leadoff spot, but has gotten 24 runs driven in nonetheless. That's most on the team and tied for 6th in the league. Kind of hard to do that when you're the leadoff hitter. 2-1 pitch is in there for a called strike right on the outside corner. So it's 2-1 now on Nico Horner. That was Steve Williams who made the call behind the plate. Rick Del Vecchio is the first base ump, and Larry Rosenberg is over at third base tonight. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's lifted out into right field down the line. That one's going to tail just foul. Bounces right before the edge of that gray warning track out there in foul territory on the right side, maybe 5 or so feet foul to right field. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Nico Horner. Horner with 6 home runs on the season to go with those 24 RBI. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's hit hard through the middle. That's into center field for a base hit. That was a bullet off the bat of Nico Horner. Bit scary there for Revenue on the mound. Had to duck for just a minute, but it just whizzed above where his head would have been. A leadoff single for Horner, who is trouble once he gets on the base paths, starts this ball game off. And now it'll be Kyle Isbell's turn, the YD center fielder tonight. Horner this season has 14 stolen bases, which is the 4th on the Cape, but also has been caught 7 times, which is the 2nd most. So definitely aggressive on the base paths. Isbell hitting from the left side. The pitch, runner's going. It's a high chopper toward the right side. Moving over to his left is Malfetta. He throws to first base for the out, but advancing to second on the play is Nico Horner. So bit of an unintentional sacrifice, let's say, as Isbell grounds out to the right side. And now it's Alfonso Rivas' turn. Rivas hitting .269 on the year. 2 home runs, 19 runs batted in for the man from Arizona. Rivas sending from the left side. Holding the set is the righty Revenue. Here comes the first pitch to Rivas. And it misses low to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. We're just underway here in the top of the first inning. It's no score here in top of inning number 1 with Horner aboard second base. It's a chilly, overcast day here at Stony Brook Field. There was a forecast for rain, and so far, thank goodness that has not come true yet. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's in there for a strikeout or edge to the lefty hitter, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. And the wind here at Stony Brook Field, we've talked a lot about how often it's been blowing straight out to center. Today it's been kind of the opposite. It's blowing out from center toward home plate, so not good news for the hitters today. Here comes the 1-1 from Revenue. Just misses low, says Steve Williams. And the count is 2-1 despite Coons' attempt to frame it. Rivas put up some eye-popping numbers at Arizona this past spring and had a slow start here on the Cape, but then, like a lot of folks, he was able to adjust and really heat it up. The 2-1 pitch misses high and outside to make the count 3-1 on Rivas. Rivas, those numbers at Arizona, 371 average, a 483 OBP, and 7 homers to boot. And in the second half of this season here on the Cape, he really has improved from what was a slow start to the season. Had trouble making hard contact. Here comes a 3-1 pitch. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Coons, so it's 3-2. Now on Rivas, as Revenue is trying to work out of this at-bat. An early jam here. There's a runner on second base and 1 out. We're scoreless here, top of the first inning. Whitecaps and Red Sox. Revenue stares in. Now he holds the set. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Looked like he was out in front of that one was Rivas, and Revenue gets his first strikeout of this ball game, his 8th on the year, and now 5 1/3 innings of work, and there are 2 gone. Now Carlos Cortez will dig in for the YD Red Sox. Cortez, another lefty hitter. An SEC man out of South Carolina. Horner on second base with now 2 men out here in the top of the first inning. The pitch. Swing and a miss. In there for strike number 1. Revenue so far doing a good job of changing speeds on folks. 0-1 is the count on Cortez. Revenue shakes off one sign from Coons. Now he gets the one he likes and comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Just misses outside. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike. Another one that was very close, but Steve Williams judging that one to be just off the plate. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Cortez this season hitting .280. 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball dropped in there for strike number 2. Looked like he froze him there, did Revenue. As Cortez just kind of watched that one drop into the zone. It's 1-2 now on Cortez, who has a .356 on base percentage this year, 3 home runs, and 15 runs driven in. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch from Revenue. Here it comes. It's hit hard but foul down the left field line. And so we'll do it again with the count 1-2. Cortez was one of the most exciting freshmen in the SEC this past spring. Does have a home run against these Brewster Whitecaps. That came at Red Wilson Field. It was out to center field where he was able to take advantage of that very close fence out there in Yarmouth. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Here comes the pitch. It's fouled back to the screen, so it's still 1-2 on Cortez. We're in the top of inning number 1, still scoreless here. Nico Horner started things off with a hard hit single to center and advanced to second on a fielder's choice. That's where he stands now with 2 men out. And Cortez digging back in from the left side against Revenue. Revenue stares in, now holds the set with the count 1-2. Here comes the pitch. It's hit high in the air, foul ground left side. It'll tail out of play. So we will do it again. And jogging back over to second was Horner, going on contact, of course, here with 2 men out. Mentioned in the pregame that Brewster has yet to defeat YD this season. They're the only team on the Cape, the Red Sox, that has not lost to the Whitecaps at some point down the line. Brewster is 0-3-1 against the Red Sox. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. It's fouled back to the screen once again. Cortez putting together a terrific at-bat to stay alive here against Revenue, who I'm sure is looking to try and get out of this inning, with Shevchik looking for efficiency out of his hurlers today. 1-2 the count. Revenant taking a deep breath, trying to warm up his hands on the mound as he blows into him. That's going to be something that every pitcher's going to have to deal with. It's only going to get cooler as this ball game kind of moves on. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. It's hit on the ground, right side. Moving to his right and backhanding it is the first baseman Infante. He underhands it to a covering Revenant for out number 3. So the runner is left stranded aboard second base. Nobody scores for YD in the top of the first inning. They get one hit and leave one on. At the end of a half, it's the Red Sox nothing, and the Brewster Whitecaps coming to bat. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field. Carter Woodeel and Morris Sheridan here with you. We're going into the bottom of the first inning. YD failed to score in the top of the first, so we are scoreless here in Brewster. And Nick Dunn will lead things off for the Whitecaps against Andrew Cazada. Again, making his first start of the year on the Cape. Has made 6 appearances out of the pen for YD. The pitch is in there for a strike on an opening fastball from Cazada to make the count 0-1. Cazada has a 2.25 ERA in 12 innings pitched so far this season. Here comes the 0-1 to the lefty Dunn, and it misses inside. That one tailing away. Nice job of the backhand it by the catcher, Darren Trainer. Nick Dunn in the midst of a 14-game hitting streak. He has been terrific over the course of that hitting streak for Brewster. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's hit high in the air. Shallow left center field. Moving back is the shortstop, Kaiser, and he will make the play for out number 1. That one kind of got caught up in the wind for a little while, but Kaiser was able to grab it. Might be difficult for pop flies as this game wears on, with this wind still blowing in from center field toward home plate. But Nick Dunn is retired for the first out of this bottom of the first inning. That'll bring up Christian Malfetta. Getting you set on the YD defense here. Darren Trainer is behind the plate. We saw Kaiser, the shortstop. Christian Causes at third, Horner at second, Mendoza at first base, and it's Rivas, Isbell, and Cortez left to right in the outfield. The first pitch to Malfetta misses inside to the right-handed hitter out of Stanford, and so the count is 1-0 on Malfetta. Malfetta on the year hitting .224 with a .273 on base percentage, no home runs, 8 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a called strike on a curveball from Cazada to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Cazada's fastball will settle in the high 80s typically, and he's got that curveball and a changeup as his primary off-speed stuff. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a hard ground ball toward the left side. Moving to his left to scoop it up is the shortstop Kaiser, and he throws to first base in time to beat the hustling Christian Malfetta for the second out of the bottom of the first inning. Whitecaps and YD Red Sox knotted at 0 here in the bottom of the first. And the 3-hitter today for Brewster, Hunter Bishop, will dig in. We've talked about how Jamie Shevchik is kind of toying around a bit with his lineup with the playoff spot already in hand for Brewster. He said in the post-game interview, and I was talking to you more about how he wants guys that are dialed in. He wants to try and find them by giving them at-bats. The first pitch to Bishop is in there for a called strike on the inner half to the lefty hitter. And so Bishop, who has not spent a ton of time at the top of the Whitecaps order this season, is hitting third for Brewster. 0-1 pitch on the way. Misses down and in. So the count 1 ball and 1 strike. A couple of fastballs there from Quezada. 1 hit the target and 1 just missed. 1-1 the count. Bishop on the season hitting .222 with a .346 OBP. The 1-1 pitch, cut on and missed on a breaking ball, but just fell off the table. A terrific pitch from Quezada. That one maybe started about knee high or maybe a tad higher and then just dove down toward the dirt, and it fooled Hunter Bishop, who just waved at it. So the count is 1-2 now on the man from Arizona State. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's cut on and missed. Strike 3, ran a fastball up, and Bishop chased after that one as well. So it's a very quick bottom of the first inning. The Whitecaps go down in order against Quezada. At the end of 1 full inning of play, we're scoreless here at Stony Brook Field. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com. Or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field. A bit of a delay here as they put some more sand behind home plate, immediately behind home plate in that dirt area behind it. We had a bit of a sprinkler malfunction earlier today at Stony Brook Field. The area to the right of home plate and immediately behind it, and the areas by first and third base were really saturated and muddy, and the coaching staff and the players and everybody else who helped out did a terrific job getting this field ship-shape. It'll be Christian Koss to lead off, and he swings and misses at the first offering from Drew Revenot to make the count 0-1. We're starting the second inning here at Stony Brook Field, and we're scoreless thus far between the Whitecaps and the Red Sox. And the 0-1 to the right-hander misses down and away on a slider to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Koss at third base for the Red Sox today. He's hitting .346 on the year, a .424 on base percentage, 1 home run, 10 RBIs. The 1-1 pitch misses up high, so the count is 2-1. That was a breaking ball that just didn't quite bite out of the hand of Drew Revenot, who's working noticeably more quickly out of the windup here. Was pitching out of the stretch for much of that first inning. Here comes the 2-1. It misses up and away, so it's 3-1 now on Christian Koss, and Revenot is one more wayward pitch away from having to pitch out of the stretch in this frame as well. Gave up a leadoff single to Nico Horner, which so far has been the only base runner we've seen from either team in this game. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. It misses down and away, and there's another base runner as Christian Koss reaches via the walk, and YD has the leadoff man on for the second straight frame.
Well, that's only the second walk of the year for Revenot. He's a guy that's had a lot of control on the mound in his 4 2/3 innings of pitch, so that's a big walk there for the YD Red Sox.
And that'll bring up the lefty hitting Drew Mendoza out of Florida State. 197 the batting average for him this year. 1 home run, 8 RBIs, getting on base about 23% of the time. Runner on first base, nobody out the pitch. Just misses outside in the judgment of Steve Williams. We got a great seat right behind home plate here for our home games in Brewster, so we can hear how Steve Williams is a little bit different from other umpires. When it's a ball, he'll tell you whether it's out, whether it's low, whether it's high. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air, foul ground left side. It will tail out of play. So that evens the count up 1 ball and 1 strike on Mendoza. Mendoza is from Florida, Lake Minneola High School graduate. He's a rising sophomore, so one of the younger players on this YD team, although there are a lot of rising sophomores for Scott Pickler's club. A little bit more this year than Pickler typically brings in. 1-1 is the count. Revenue holds the set, the pitch. Swing and a miss. That was a fastball up, and Mendoza took a big swing at it, saying something to himself after chasing that pitch. Didn't seem exactly thrilled. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're scoreless here, top of the second inning in Brewster. Runner on first base, no one out. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It misses low, blocked nicely by Justin Coons, who will give a look over to Christian Koss at first base. No advance. Koss so far this year, 4 out of 6 stealing bases for the YD Red Sox. Has gotten on base plenty of times with that 424 OBP. 2-2 is the count. Revenue staring in. And now we'll hold the set. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's cut on and missed for strike 3. That was a fastball in the inner part of the plate, and another swing and miss from Drew Mendoza. That's the second strikeout of this ball game for Revenue, and the first out of the second inning. And now it's Nick Quintana's turn. Talking about how YD has kind of been pesky on the base packs for teams this year. They are second on the Cape with 55 stolen bases. And remember, these first 2 teams, when they first met up, way back earlier in this season, in that game that ended in a tie, YD got 9 stolen bases off of Brewster, but they've only had 1 in 3 meetings since. The first pitch is outside. Runner's going for second, but throw down to second base is in time. They got him. A terrific throw from Justin Coons and a nice play by Christian Malfetta to grab that one as he was heading over. Might have slipped a bit on the dirt around second base, but anyway, it's an out at second. Coons is now 9 out of 19 throwing runners out this year. A terrific defensive catcher. And he shows it off there again. So that's the second out of this second inning.
Well, we saw Coons do that yesterday in the 4th inning. And
Pitch to Quintana is hit high in the air, a pop fly toward the right side of the infield, but second baseman Malfetta is coming in now inside the infield grass, still running, and he makes a basket catch on the run to retire the side. Looked like the wind got a hold of that baseball. Malfetta was smiling as he hustled over to the dugout, but was able to bring that baseball down for out number 3. So for YD, nothing across in his second inning. They get the runner on via the walk, but he's canceled out on the caught stealing. So we're through an inning and a half, and we're still scoreless here in Brewster. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Mass. We're starting the bottom of the second inning, and it will be Julian Infante to lead things off for Brewster with Hill and Gehagen following him. The Whitecaps went down in order in the first. This game is still scoreless here between the Red Sox and the Whitecaps. And the first pitch to the righty, Infante, misses inside. The offering from Andrew Cazada, who is looking locked in. The first 3 frames got a pop fly, a ground ball, and a strikeout of Hunter Bishop to quickly retire the side for Brewster in that top of the second. Now Infante digging in. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Misses low or just inside, so says Steve Williams, informing Infante that it was a ball in. So 2-0 is the count. 2-0 the count on Infante, who's hitting .238 on the year, a .300 on base percentage, 1 home run, 12 RBIs. The 2-0 pitch, a broken back ground ball to the right side. Moving to his right to field it is the second baseman Horner. He comes up with it and throws to first base in time for the out. That bat went flying over toward the left side, but fortunately we do have a lot of netting here at Stony Brook Field, so everybody's going to be all right. Just the handle was left as Steve Williams, the home plate ump, handed it over to the bat boy. Not a lot left on that stick. Infante with another broken bat. He's had one the past few times he's come up, it seems like, for Brewster. Anyway, that's the first out of the bottom of the second.
Yeah, we saw Chandler Taylor absolutely shatter a bat yesterday, and then he still managed to do a bat flip, though, on his way to first.
Here is Darius Hill, and the pitch to the lefty misses low to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Chandler Taylor's not going to have any time where he's going to miss doing a bat flip. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air, a pop fly towards shallow left field. Moving back is the shortstop, Kaiser. He calls everybody off and makes the catch for out number 2. That's the second time Connor Kaiser's skills have been required on a pop fly. Had to range a few steps out into shallow left center field. Far out enough where he really had to call off the left fielder Rivas to go in and make the grab. So 2 gone quickly, and Zach Gahagan will dig in for Brewster. Still looking for our first Whitecap base runner of this game. Gahagan taking a deep breath as he digs in from the right side. Gahagan did make the lineup for last night's game in Bourne and went 2 for 3. Had a couple of singles later on in that game. A grinded out victory for the Whitecaps. They won that game 7-6. And here comes the first pitch, righty to righty. It's in there for a called strike 1. Just grooved that one in there. On the season, Gahagan is hitting .186, a .286 on base percentage. No home runs and just the 1 RBI for him so far this year. Here comes the 0-1 offering. It's hit hard but foul down the right field line, and it whacks into the netting by the YD dugout on the first base side, but everybody's all right. Not too hard hit. Off the bat is Zach Gahagan, and the count is 0-2 on the Carolina Tar Heel. Quezada staring in. He'll be headed to Cal State Fullerton this coming spring. Here comes the 0-2. It misses up and away to make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. We are scoreless here, bottom of the second inning. Whitecaps and Red Sox. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Misses up high. The count is 2-2. That's that high fastball that has been a little tough for certain Whitecaps to deal with. I've talked about this before, about how Hunter Bishop and Chandler Taylor specifically have been swinging at fastballs. Those are the 2 guys on the Whitecaps roster that are prone to Ks. Here comes the 2-2. Cut on and missed on a breaking ball down and away. It gets away from the catcher Trainer, but he'll apply the tag to Gahagan as he hustles to first to complete the strikeout. The second strikeout in this ball game for Alfonso Rivas, or for Andrew Quezada, excuse me, and it's 6 up, 6 down for the Whitecaps to start this game at the plate. At the end of 2, we're scoreless here in Brewster. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. We welcome you back to this scoreless game as we start the top of the third here between the Whitecaps and the Red Sox at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. It's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for YD in this third inning. It's Kaiser, Trainer, and Horner to be exact. Kaiser digging in from the right side, the shortstop out of Vanderbilt, who's had his defensive mettle tested a couple of times, grabbing a couple of pop flies early on in this ball game. The wind is still blowing in from center field, which makes those all the more tricky. Righty to righty, the first pitch is a breaking ball dropped in there for strike number 1. A ton of movement on that pitch from Revenue. Started off, looked like it got all the way up to eye level from what we can see right behind home plate, and then wound up being a strike at the knees. Here comes the 0-1. It misses outside to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Kaiser. Kaiser's hitting .305 this season for YD, a .408 on base percentage, 2 homers, and 14 runs driven in for Kaiser this season. There comes the 1-1. It's at high in the air, right field toward the foul line. Hustling over is the Whitecap right fielder Darius Hill, but he'll run out of room. That one winds up in the YD bullpen down the right field line, out of play. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Kaiser. Kaiser, a rising junior from Overland Park, Kansas. Hit .222 for the Vanderbilt Commodores this past spring. Was put together a much better season with the bat so far here on the Cape. Digging in from the right side, counts 1 and 2. Revenue stares in, takes a deep breath, and here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball just fouled off, and I mean just. He just barely got a piece and wound up whacking into his shin. And counts 1 and 2. Kaiser is a teammate with Julian Infante on the Vanderbilt Commodores team, and one thing that he and Infante have in common is that they like to wear their golden Vanderbilt cleats during games. Kaiser's sporting them right now. Those gold accents really shining out. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's hit hard down the right field line. That one is going to drop fair for a base hit, rolling into the right field corner. Kaiser's hustling around first base. Hill had trouble fielding it at first, but he'll get it in. It's a standing double for Connor Kaiser, and the leadoff man reaches for the 3rd straight inning for YD. And again, Revenue will have to pitch out of the stretch here. A nice hard hit baseball by Kaiser, driving it the other way down the right field line. And so it's now Darren Trainer's turn. Trainer, the number 9 hitter for the Red Sox. We are scoreless here in the top of the third. YD got the leadoff man on, as I mentioned, in the first and second frames. Horner singled in the first. He moved to second on a ground ball and was left there. And then Christian Koss reached via a leadoff walk in the second inning, but then was caught stealing second. And Revenue just wound up facing the minimum 3 in that inning. So here's Trainer, who's hitting .111 on the Cape this year. This is his 13th appearance. Here comes the pitch. He shows bunt, takes the pitch low after pulling the bunt back. So it's 1 ball and no strikes. The corners are in for Brewster to guard this bunt with Infante at first and Gehagen over at third base. Perhaps the Whitecaps will be running the wheel play here as Malfetta and the shortstop Connor Smith, the middle infielders, are communicating here. 1-0 is the count. On the right, he's swinging Darren Trainer. Revenue checks the runner at second and deals. Shows bunt again and bunts it down the third base line. Charging to field it is Zach Gehagen. He barehands it and throws to first base in time for the out. That was indeed Malfetta, the second baseman, who collected it there. So the sacrifice is scored 5-4, and the runner does move up successfully to third base for YD with 1 man out. And now it's back to the top of the order for Yarmouth Dennis. Starting off with Nico Horner. Horner, as I mentioned, had that single his first time up in the first inning. It was a bullet right back to the pitcher. Drew Revenue just whizzed over his head and into center field. Kaiser is on third. He's got plenty of speed. Horner here just needs one of his customary fly balls to try and get this game's first run across. The pitch misses low on a breaking ball. The Whitecaps have brought their infield in with the count 1 ball and no strikes on Nico Horner. Horner, a man from Stanford, originally from Oakland, California. Went to Head Royce High School. Waiting on a 1-0 pitch. Here it comes. Misses outside. So we'll do it again with the count 2 balls and no strikes. Horner has a reputation as a grinded out kind of guy. Coming into this Cape League season, he'd never missed a game in high school or with his college team at Stanford. Never missed one. 2-0 is the count. Runner on third base, 1 out. Here comes the pitch. It's in there for a called strike at the knees. And the count is 2-1 now on Horner. Still no score in this game. We're in the top of the third with 1 man out, but YD knocking on the door here with the runner on third base and 1 gone. Righty to righty. Reveno holds the set. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Shows bunt and bunts it right back to the pitcher. Reveno, it's a squeeze play. The run comes in to score. They get the out at first base, but the suicide squeeze works to perfection, and YD takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, when that bunt went down, Connor Kaiser was almost halfway home. He's got a lot of speed to him, so that was a very smart play, and as you said, worked to perfection. Could have gone haywire, but worked perfectly for the Red Sox, and this is a low-scoring game, so that run is probably going to matter.
That's something that Scott Pickler is always it's always a club in his bag for him. He can pull out that squeeze play, so it's 1-0 Red Sox. Here's the 2-hitter Isbell. He shows bunt but takes it outside after pulling it back, so 1-0 the count on the lefty swinging Kyle Isbell. The bases are now empty here with 2 men out as they were able to retire Nico Horner. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air, a pop fly behind the plate. It'll head over the press box and out of play to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. I'll tell you what, Maura, you were talking about how great of a jump Connor Kaiser got at third. You wonder if he got even too great of a jump because the throw went to first base. 1-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Shows bunt and bunts it toward the left side. Charging is the third baseman Gahagan, but Reveno will barehanded and throw to first base, and it gets away from Infante, but it's backed up by the second baseman Malfetta. Safe at first base is Isbell on a bunt. Well, a lot of ABC baseball happening right now for the YD Red Sox. That's the 3rd bunt that they have laid down in as many hitters here. And the 3-hitter Alfonso Rivas will now dig in. And they all were kind of different. They have a sacrifice play from Trainer, the squeeze play with Horner at the plate, and then Isbell just bunting for a hit. And now Isbell, now that he's on first, is a threat to go. He's 10 out of 12 stealing bases this season for the Red Sox. The pitch to Rivas. There he goes to second base. The pitch is in there for a strike, and he slides in safely at second without a throw. Stolen base number 11 for Kyle Isbell this season. Looked like Coons might have had a problem transferring the baseball out of his mitt when he was coming up out of the crouch there. 0-1 is the count. With Isbell now aboard second base and 2 men out. It's 1-0 Yarmouth Dennis here in the top of inning number 3. Reveno staring in. Gets the sign from Justin Coons and now comes set. Checks the runner at second. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. A gorgeous little slurvy pitch there from Drew Reveno. Started off up and away and wound up just catching the outer black to the lefty swinging Rivas, who struck out swinging his first time, one of 2 strikeout victims against Reveno for these Red Sox so far in this ball game. Waiting on an 0-2 pitch, here it comes. It's hit high in the air toward the left field line. On the run is a left fielder, Devin Foyle, still giving chase, but he's going to be out of his reach and out of play over beyond the Whitecaps bullpen on the left side. So 0-2, still the count on Alfonso Rivas. Isbell, the runner at second base with 2 men out. Jamie Shevchik has talked so often about how the first few innings can dictate the rest of the baseball game. And so far, these first 3 innings have been kind of tense. 0-2 is the count. Holding the set is Reveno. The pitch is lined toward left field. It's past the leaping Zach Gahagan and into left field for a base hit. Hustling around third base is Kyle Isbell. He'll come in to score. Heading for second base now is Rivas. The throw is not in time, and he's safe at second. It's an RBI double for Alfonso Rivas, and the YD Red Sox double their lead. It's now 2-0.
Well, that was the 9th RBI of the year for Rivas, and just out of the reach of Zach Gahagan. He jumped for it and then got over the head in just a tough spot there for Foyle to get in. So he got 2, and then the speedy Isbell came home.
And now it's up to Carlos Cortez, and again, a runner is in scoring position for the YD Red Sox. Tell you what, Reveno has had more batters that he's faced with a runner on second than he has in any other situation so far in this ball game. The pitch to Cortez is a breaking ball with no bite. It misses up and away, so the count is 1-0. Cortez's first time up hit a ground ball to the right side. Was retired 3-1. Infante to Reveno to end that first inning. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air behind the plate, foul. Out of play, 1-1 is the count. Cortez, as I mentioned, out of South Carolina, originally from Oviedo, Florida, and another one of those rising sophomores on this YD Red Sox club. A little atypical of Scott Pickler. But so far, they have had their typical successful season. Here comes the 1-1. Breaking ball hit high in the air behind the plate, foul. And so the count is 1-2. That one looked like a bit of a hanger there from Reveno. Wasn't quite right down Broadway, but certainly wasn't right down at the knees either. Cortez probably just wasn't timing it right and sort of golfed it above the screen behind home plate. 1-2 the count on Carlos Cortez. The Red Sox lead 2-0 here in the top of the third. 2 runs in on Ms. Frame on a suicide squeeze. And then a ribby double from Rivas. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's looped foul left side. Again, just got a piece of that off-speed pitch, did Cortez. As he'll take a second to recollect himself, do some stretches behind the plate. And now the lefty hitter will dig back in with the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. We talked about the threat of rain for this ball game. That was something that was very worrisome earlier today and is looking less like a big factor now with the sky staying dry. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's hit high in the air toward shallow center field. Coming in a bit is the center fielder Hunter Bishop, and he will make the play for out number 3. So that finishes things for Brewster in the top of the third, but YD does get a pair of runs. They get them on 3 hits, and they leave 1 runner on base with no errors in the frame. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, it's 2-0 Red Sox. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. Back here at Stony Brook Field, bottom third of the Whitecap order due up against Quezada, and the first pitch to the switch-hitting Devin Foyle misses low. Foyle hitting from the left side against the righty Quezada. Whitecaps are still looking for their first base runner in this ball game. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It misses inside. Ran up close to Foyle, who kind of winced at it. The count is 2-0. YD got 2 runs in the top of the third, so they lead 2-0 as we start the bottom half of the third inning here in Brewster. 2-0 pitch is fouled away behind the plate. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Devin Foyle back in the lineup today, one of those guys that has played an important reserve role for Brewster, but is getting a little bit more playing time with the playoff spot now in hand for the Whitecaps. Had a double last night in Bourne. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's hit on the ground toward the shortstop, Kaiser, who scoops it up and throws to first base for out number 1. A nice hard ground ball, but Kaiser was able to collect it. And so that's out number 1 quickly here in the bottom of the third. 7 up and 7 down for Brewster. And now it'll be Justin Coons' turn. He'll try and break through here for the Whitecaps. Coons starting at catcher again for the Whitecaps this evening. Here comes the pitch to the right-hander. It misses low to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. We were talking before about the rain, but darkness is also a threat here in this ball game. This is the last home game for Brewster in July. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. A high chopper toward the left side, foul. Down the line over toward the Brewster dugout on the third base side. 1-1 the count. And it's important that this is the last one in July because the 2 August home games start at 4 o'clock to try and avoid darkness cutting the game short. They don't have that insurance tonight. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It misses up and away to make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And already here, I mean, it's an overcast day. It's about as gloomy as you can have a ball game here. Looking quite dark so far. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Misses inside. So says Steve Williams behind the plate. So it's 3-1 on Coons, who's hitting .222 on the year, .288 on base percentage, 3 home runs and 7 runs batted in for the Brewster catcher. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's hit hard down the left field line. It's foul. And the count is full 3-2. The third baseman, Koss, gave that one some chase, but was a few feet foul down the left side. So the count full on Justin Coons. Coons, as we mentioned, has been on a tear. Throwing base runners out defensively is 1 out of 2 in that department today. 3-2 pitches swung on and just got a piece. Just barely fouled it off. The catcher, Trainer, was frustrated there. He thought he had a chance to catch that one for a foul tip, and strike 3 pounded his fist into his mitt. But we'll do it again with the count 3-2. That's something Justin Coons has been very good at all year, fouling tough pitches off. Quezada staring in, and here comes the 3-2 offering. It's hit high in the air, foul ground, right side out of play, and we'll do it again. That one sounded like it whacked off of something back there, maybe by the school building out there. Everybody looks to be all right. Count is full 3-2. We have seen one baseball go all the way back to the snack shack this year. I remember it was quite a surprise for the folks standing in line for hot dogs. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Just misses inside on a curveball. The Whitecaps have their first base runner as Coons will trot over to first with the 1 out base on balls. Whitecaps trailing 2-0 here, bottom of the 3rd inning. Connor Smith will now stroll to the batter's box for Brewster, the shortstop for the Whitecaps in this ball game. Smith had a terrific hustle play in Bourne last night where he hit what looked like a routine ground ball to short, but he hustled it out. Got an infield single out of it to everybody's surprise. The pitch to the right-handed hitter is hit high in the air to right field. Moving back is the right fielder Cortez, and now he makes the catch for out number 2. Kind of a circuitous route to that baseball from Cortez. Had to come in a couple of steps and make the catch at about, even with that Whitey logo on his jersey in terms of where his glove was at, thanks to this wind, which is going to be very tricky if it's gusting like it was then when the baseball is high up in the air. In any case, Smith is retired. And now it'll be Nick Dunn's turn. Trying to keep that 14-game hitting streak going. Runner on first base, 2 men out for the Whitecaps. It's Coons aboard first. And they're going to check on Coons. Send him heading back to the first base bag. Not sure if that's the first time Coons has been checked on at first, but definitely not too many of those. Here comes the pitch. And it misses low. Gets away from the catcher, Trainer. Coons is trying for second base. The throw down to second won't be in time. So I have to eat my words there. Excellent speed there from Coons and good reflexes to know that it did skip just out of Darren Trainer's reach behind the plate. And so just like that, the Whitecaps have a man in scoring position on the wild pitch. Dunn hit a pop fly to shortstop his first time up. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's swung on a high chopper toward the right side. Moving over to his right is Quezada. He fields it and throws to the first baseman Mendoza to retire the side. Nice reflexes there from the YD pitcher to hustle over and field that baseball. And that finishes things here in the 3rd inning. The Whitecaps get no runs. They do not get a hit either, and they leave 1 runner on base here in the 3rd. At the end of 3 full innings of play, it's 2-0 YD. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Koss, Mendoza, and Quintana all due up for the Whitey Red Sox. They'll face off against Drew Revenue, still on the mound for the Whitecaps. First pitch to Koss, hit high in the air. First baseman Julian Infante moving in, and he will step in to fair territory and make the grab for a quick out number 1 in this top of the 4th inning for the Brewster Whitecaps.
That's kind of a funny situation with Christian Koss heading over to first. Fonte kind of had to move around him because it was right in front of the first base bag when he made that catch. Pop flies are going to be interesting to keep track of today with this wind.
And now will be Drew Mendoza's turn for the Red Sox. Revenue staring in. Here comes the first pitch. Shows bunt, then takes it back. That one a called strike. Counts 0-1 on Mendoza. Mendoza struck out in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. As the 1-0 is hit high, as this time third baseman Zach Gahagan gets under it. Another high pop fly lands in the glove of Gahagan, and that's 2 outs for the Brewster Whitecaps on 2 infield pop flies.
And hey, you'll take that, right? I mean, I'm sure Drew Revenue would love to put up highlight reel strikeouts all night, but in a game where you want to make sure you're moving efficiently, 2 pop flies will do the trick.
It's the top of the 4th inning. The Red Sox are up 2-0 on the Brewster Whitecaps here at Stony Brook Field as Quintana, the designated hitter today, digs in for the Red Sox. Here comes the pitch from Revenue. That one finds the strike zone. Counts now 0-1 on Quintana. We just saw back-to-back pop flies in the infield. Quintana had one of his own in the 2nd inning to end that inning. That one went to Zach Gahagan. As the next pitch from Revenue just misses the strike zone. Counts now 1-1. Quintana, honorable mention in the Pac-12 this year as the breaking ball from Revenue. A lot of movement there, but just misses inside. Counts now 2-1 on number 11 for the Whitey Red Sox, trying to get some offense going. There's 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. The 2-1. That one misses outside this time, and count runs 3-1 on Quintana. The Red Sox got their lead, their 2-0 lead in the last inning off of 3 hits, scored 2 runs. As Quintana hits one hard into center field. Hunter Bishop on the move, gets under it and makes the grab. Had to move to the right to make that catch, but it's 3 up and 3 down for the Brewster Whitecaps. The Whitey Red Sox do not get anybody on, do not score any runs, and do not register any hits. The score is still Whitey 2, Brewster nothing after 3.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Andrew Cazada still on the mound for the Whitey Red Sox. And it's going to be the 2, 3, and 4 batters due up for the Brewster Whitecaps in the bottom of the 4th inning. Whitey on top of Brewster 2-0 as Christian Molfetta digs in. Steve Williams quickly calls time behind the plate. Now Molfetta ready. And here comes the first pitch. Molfetta shows bunt, and that one fouled off right into his shin. Counts now 0-1. That one went right behind him to Hunter Bishop on deck for the Brewster Whitecaps. Molfetta in the first inning in his first at-bat and only at-bat. Grounded out to shortstop. Here comes the 0-1. A swing and a miss from Molfetta. A low pitch on the outside corner. Molfetta just waved at that one, and count moves to 0-2 on today's second baseman for the Brewster Whitecaps. Brewster finally getting back up to the top of their lineup. Again, top of the 4th inning as Cazada misses outside. Counts now 1-2. Cazada's been great on the mound so far today in his first start for the Whitey Red Sox. Hasn't allowed a hit and just one base runner. We just saw Justin Coons in the 3rd inning get on as Molfetta hits one right to short. The first baseman who grabs it, Mendoza steps on the bag, and Christian Molfetta is retired to start out this bottom of the 4th inning. Hunter Bishop now coming in for the Brewster Whitecaps, trying to get something going here for Brewster. Bishop struck out in his first at-bat to end the 1st inning. Here comes the first pitch. That one in the dirt. Counts 1-0 on Bishop, playing center field today. It's where he's been most of the season, although he did move to right field while Steele Walker was in the lineup, and Bishop will hit one to the second baseman, Horner, who makes a nice throw to first, and that will send Bishop back to the dugout. Nice play there from Horner. Had to move pretty quickly in order to close the gap there, but was able to get out Hunter Bishop.
Yeah, you said it more. Really needed to have some quick reflexes to start scampering over to his left, and then made a great throw. Excellent job from the second baseman.
So now it's going to be Julian Infante up to bat for Brewster. Here comes the first pitch to Infante. That one finds a strike zone. Counts now 0-1 on Infante. We talked about his teammate Connor Kaiser sporting the gold cleats. Not Julian Infante today, just the plain black ones, as he'll hit a hard line drive that goes foul on the right side. Counts now 0-2 on Infante. Brewster has nobody on. And there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Infante taking his time, as always, in the batter's box. Now stepping in. Here comes the 0-2. That one low in the dirt. A nice stop there from Trainer behind the plate. Counts 1-2 on today's first baseman for the Brewster Whitecaps. Just like almost all of his teammates besides Justin Coons, Infante didn't get up in his first at-bat, as he'll hit one right over the second base bag, and that will be a base hit, and the first one for the Brewster Whitecaps. So as I always say, they seem to always hear what I'm saying at the plate, and Brewster finally gets on a base hit from Julian Infante.
Another great piece of hitting. It reminded me a little bit about the single that we saw from Horner to lead off the ball game. Just send it right over, as you said, more of the bag. That's when you know you really got a hand of the baseball.
Now Darius Hill up to bat with Julian Infante at first. First pitch to Darius Hill was a ball, so counts now 1-0 on Hill. Here comes the 1-0. A swing and a miss from Darius Hill, moves the count to 1-1. Hill almost lost his footing on that one. But now he'll re-enter the batter's box. Counts now 1-1. Here comes the pitch. This one fouled right into the netting on the third base side. Counts now 1-2 on Darius Hill, who popped up to shortstop in his first at-bat for the Whitecaps. That was in the second inning. We're in the bottom of the fourth, and YD leads Brewster 2-0. Here comes the 1-2. This one again fouled on the third base line. High and into the trees. Count still 1-2 on Darius Hill, staying alive in this at-bat. Hill was one of the guys that Jamie Shevchik was very happy with last night. Scored the winning run for the Whitecaps as Hill fouled this one straight up behind him. Staying alive again is Darius Hill, putting together a nice at-bat here with 2 outs and a runner on first for the Brewster Whitecaps. Darius Hill is the tying run. Here comes the 1-2. This one again fouled by Hill. Trainer took off his helmet, and he will tag Darius Hill as he swung at that one for strike 3. An interesting play there to end that inning, but the Whitecaps do finally get a hit, but don't bring Julian Infante home. 1 runner is left on for the Whitecaps. The score is still YD 2, Brewster nothing after 4 innings of play. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. It's the top of the 5th inning, and it's going to be Kaiser, Trainer, and Horner. 8, 9, and 1 all due up for the YD Red Sox. Drew Revenue still on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps. First pitch from Revenue, a breaking ball that just misses a little high. Counts now 1-0 on Connor Kaiser, the shortstop today for the Red Sox. Here comes the 1-0 from Revenue. This one paints the outside corner. Count moves to 1-1. Kaiser scored the first run of this game for the YD Red Sox as a breaking ball misses inside. Counts now 2-1 on Kaiser. Kaiser had a nice double in the 3rd inning to get things started for this YD offense in that big 3rd inning where YD went up 2-0. The score that still stands as Revenue misses outside, and count moves to 3-1 on Kaiser. Kaiser has 9 doubles on the year. That's tied for the best on the team with Alex McKenna, who's not in the lineup today for the Red Sox, as he'll swing and miss at the next pitch from Revenue, and count now runs full in the first batter Revenue sees in this top of the 5th inning. Revenue holding set, shaking off a couple signs from Justin Coons behind the plate. Finally settles on 1. Here comes the payoff pitch. That one paints the outside corner and gets Connor Kaiser looking. That is going to be the 3rd strikeout for Drew Revenue in this game as he strikes off the first batter he faces in Connor Kaiser in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, terrific job just freezing Kaiser up on that 3-2 pitch just right there on the outside corner. One of the better pitches I think we've seen from Drew Revenue since this ball game has started off.
Now it's going to be Darren Trainer's turn as he'll hit the first ball he sees. This one into left center, and it will drop in. And looks like it's going to be a ground rule double as it bounces over the fence right in front of Hunter Bishop, who was on the move to try to make that if it did hit the wall. So that's going to be another double for this Whitey team. There's been 3 today for the Red Sox.
I tell you what, Maura, if this is a different day and the wind is blowing out, that's a home run. I mean, that was absolutely launched off the bat of Darren Trainer, but the wind was able to keep it in the ballpark. And as you mentioned, doubles have been the key for YD so far offensively in this ball game. Big spot here for the top of the order to try and widen this gap.
Here comes Nico Horner. First pitch to Horner, fouled off into the netting behind him. Counts 0-1 on the leadoff hitter for the Red Sox today. He has an RBI in the day. We saw an interesting play in the third. A squeeze RBI bunt from Horner brought home Connor Kaiser for the first run of this game. Just a great bunt by Nico Horner, who was having a great day defensively, too. We saw him make a nice play over at second to get Hunter Bishop out earlier in the bottom of the fourth as the next pitch from Reveno drops in for a strike. Counts now 0-2 on the second baseman today for the Red Sox. Horner also has a single in his first at-bat in the first inning. Reveno with a deep breath. Here comes the 0-2. This one fouled on the first base side. So Nico Horner stays alive. Again, runner on second, Darren Trainer. Score is still Whitey 2, Brewster nothing in the top of the 5th inning. Just 1 out. Reveno staring in, swiveling his head a little, looking at second. The 0-2 skips behind Justin Coons, goes off his knee there. He kind of lost track of the ball, but was able to grab it. But regardless, Darren Trainer takes third, and now a runner 90 feet away for the Whitey Red Sox. As I mentioned, Horner had that squeeze bunt to bring home a runner at third in Connor Kaiser. Not sure if they'll try that again, but Nico Horner looking for his 26th RBI of the year here. Already has one on the day. Count 1-2. Here comes the pitch from Reveno. This one hit high in the air. An infield pop-up, though, as the second baseman, Molfetta, will get under it and make the catch. Nico Horner very unhappy with that. He wanted at least a sac fly, but that one stayed in the infield, so the runner stays at third, and now there is 2 outs, which cancels out the idea of a sacrifice fly for the YD Red Sox as Kyle Isbell comes up to bat.
Zach Hagen is still guarding the bunt over at third base, playing in. He's remembering that squeeze play that we saw earlier in this ball game. Even with 2 out, he's guarding it.
First pitch from Reveno paints the outside corner. Counts now 0-1 on Kyle Isbell. Isbell also laid down a bunt in the 3rd inning. Came home and scored in that inning as well. Next pitch from Reveno in the dirt. A nice stop there by Coons. Counts now 1-1 on the number 2 hitter for the YD Red Sox. Batting .240 on the year. He has 19 RBIs. Reveno looks over at third and lays down the 1-1 as Isbell showed bunt there, then brought it back as that one was below the knees. Counts 2-1 on Isbell. Isbell out of UNLV. Batted .290 for them. Although, tough year for the Runnin' Rebels, only 5 conference wins. Here comes the 2-1. This one fouled into the netting behind him. Count moves to 2-2. The Whitecaps are down 2-0 on the YD Red Sox, but there is a runner on third for the Red Sox in the top of the 5th inning. And 2 outs as the number 2 hitter is up to bat for YD. Drew Reveno shakes off a couple of signs from Justin Coons, now holds the set. And here comes the 2-2. That one in the dirt again. A nice stop there from Justin Coons. Runs account full. Revenue staring in. A big spot here for the Brewster Whitecaps. And here comes the 3-2. That one misses upstairs, and another base runner gets on as Kyle Isbell takes first via the walk. And now there's runners at the corners for Alfonso Rivas.
We've been talking more about how Revenue have been kind of limiting the walks heading into this outing. This past spring with the College of San Mateo, he had 14 walks in 45 and a third innings pitched. Not exactly sparkling there, but not terrible either. Not some of the numbers that we saw from guys like Tony Losi. But here it does look like he's struggling with the control a bit and going up against a very patient lineup with good plate discipline in YD.
Here comes the first pitch to Rivas. This one hit high. Moving back is Connor Smith, the shortstop, and Zach Hagan, the third baseman, who will drop the ball. He slid and just kind of fell, and that one will fall in as a run will score for the Red Sox as Darren Trainer came in on that one, as I assume that will be an E5 there for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Well, we've been talking all game about all the pop flies that we've seen, and that time it looked like we finally saw one that got the better of the defense. It looked like Connor Smith had a beat on that baseball, and Gahagan called him off. Of course, the left fielder Foyle was in the mix as well, and you talked about it more. Maybe the wet turf didn't help Zach Gahagan as he lost his footing there for a little bit. In any case, that's a costly error.
So it is now 3-0 Red Sox on top of the Whitecaps, as you just saw Darren Trainer score off of an E5. Alfonso Rivas is now at first, and Kyle Isbell takes second. So a runner still in scoring position for the Red Sox. Drew Revenue, though, with the first pitch as Carlos Cortez hits this one hard into right field, and Darius Hill gets under it, makes the grab, but one run does score for the YD Red Sox in this inning off of just one hit. One error for the Brewster Whitecaps and two runners left on for the YD Red Sox. The score is YD 3, Brewster nothing. We're through 4.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Gahagan, Foyle, and Coons all due up for the Brewster Whitecaps. In the bottom of the fifth inning, Gahagan now entering the batter's box for Brewster. We just saw costly error by Gahagan over at third, as a run scored to make this the 3-0 game it is. YD on top of Brewster. Again, bottom of the fifth inning. Gahagan, the leadoff batter for the Whitecaps in this inning. Here comes the first pitch from Quezada as Zach Gahagan breaks his bat. Almost in half there on a foul ball, though. That one just trickled over on the first base line, but Zach Gahagan will walk over to the dugout and get a new stick. For the Brewster Whitecaps, they only have one hit on the day against Quezada. That came on in the fourth inning. Julian Infante had a single and then was left stranded as Darius Hill struck out to end that inning. So a tough day for the Brewster offense after yesterday where they put up 7 runs in a really offensive game against the Bourne Braves. They won that one 7-6. So just the game of baseball, completely different days and sometimes completely different games. Here comes the 0-1. As Zach Gahagan did not swing at that, says first base ump Rick Del Vecchio. Counts now 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 from Cazada. That one fouled into the netting behind him by Gahagan. Counts now 1-2. In the second inning, in Gahagan's first and only at bat, he struck out via a dropped third strike. Here comes the 1-2. This one again fouled right into the Brewster dugout. Gahagan stays alive, count still 1-2. Well, we've talked about how the Brewster offense has been struggling, but Cazada has just been fantastic on the mound as he will strike out Zach Gahagan. A swing and a miss from a low breaking ball from Cazada, and Zach Gahagan walks back to the dugout, and there's one retired for the Whitey Red Sox. Looks like Troy Miller is warming up in the bullpen for the Brewster Whitecaps as Devin Foyle steps up to bat for Brewster. Miller is a teammate of Will Tribuker's at Michigan. Just got in a couple days ago, and we could see a new face on the mound today for Brewster as the first pitch is below the knees to Devin Foyle. Counts now 1-0. The 1-0 again. This one misses inside. Count now moves to 2-0. Foyle taking a couple practice swings as trainer. The catcher today will go have a quick word with Cazada and just a couple of words there, then jogs back to behind the plate. Two balls, no strikes. Devin Foyle up to bat. Here comes the pitch. This one misses below the knees and counts now 3-0 on Devin Foyle. Justin Coons did walk in the third inning as Devin Foyle takes there on a strike just above the knees. Counts now 3-1 on Foyle. But besides that, in the Julian Infante hit, Brewster hasn't gotten on base as Foyle hits one right into the gap between second and short, and Devin Foyle gets a base runner on a base hit for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Yeah, both, Brewster's only been able to put across 2 hits so far in this ball game, but they've both been excellent hard hit singles right through the middle from Infante and Foyle. That's when you know you've really gotten a baseball, and it's good to see Devin Foyle taking advantage of some of the extra playing time here in these games following the Whitecaps' clinch of a spot in the postseason.
As Cazada will check up on Foyle over at first. Foyle does have a lot of speed. We've seen him pinch run many a times for the Brewster Whitecaps. Justin Coons now up to bat. First pitch to Coons, a swing and a miss from the catcher for Brewster. Counts now 0-1. Coons, as I mentioned before, worked a walk in the third inning to get a base runner on for Brewster and then actually stole second. You saw him with a little smirk there as he stole second in his first stolen base of the year. Next pitch misses below the knees. Counts now 1-1 on Justin Coons. Coons, another role player on this team, has been primarily a defensive catcher put in there in games like this one against teams that can run or have a tendency to steal bases, as again, Cazada checks up on Devin Foyle. Counts now 1-1, and once again, the checkup on Foyle. Foyle had to dive back head first, but is safe on the bag. Count still 1-1 on Coons. Here's the pitch. That one misses down and away. Counts now 2-1. On number 14 for the Brewster Whitecaps. Coons out of Gardner Webb, or the Gardner Webb, as he likes to call it. And once again, Quezada with the throw over to first. Very wary of Devin Foyle on the bag. Foyle with a significant lead over at first as Coons hits one right to the second baseman Horner, who flips it over to the shortstop, and the throw to first completes the double play. Justin Coons hits into a double play to end this inning for Brewster, who gets one hit, brings no runs across, and doesn't leave a runner on. The score is still YD 3, Brewster nothing after 5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Welcome back to Brewster, Massachusetts. It's going to be Koss, Mendoza, and Quintana all due up for the YD Red Sox in the top of the 6th inning, but they'll face a new Brewster pitcher. It's going to be Troy Miller. He is out of Michigan. This is going to be the first time we've seen him on the mound. As I mentioned earlier, he just got in a couple of days ago, teammate of Will Tribuker. He'll be living with Tribuker this summer for the remainder of the summer. As I talked to Jamie Shevchik about Miller, it was actually Tribuker who kind of recommended that his teammate at Michigan come down here and join the Whitecaps after this team was a little depleted in the bullpen, and so Troy Miller has got to thank Will Tribuker for that, and he's here on the Cape and getting ready to throw his first pitch. Here it comes, and that one misses below the knees. Counts now 1-0 on Christian Koss, third baseman today for the YD Red Sox. The 1-0. This one fouled on the first base line and goes out of play. Counts now 1-1 on Christian Koss. In his first at-bat in the second inning, Koss worked a walk, but then was thrown out on a nice play from Justin Coons. Here comes the 1-1. This misses below the knees. Counts now 2-1 on Koss. And then in the fourth inning, he had an infield pop fly, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. Here comes the 2-1 from Miller. This one again. This is below the knees. Counts now 3-1. Miller stepping off the mound, trying to regain some control here. 3 balls, 1 strike to Christian Koss. Here comes the pitch. This one hit to shortstop. Connor Smith moving in, makes the throw to first, and that will retire the first batter Troy Miller sees in the Cape League.
Tell you what, Christian Koss was really hustling over to first base. Connor Smith, of course, a guy who knows a thing or two about hustling down the line, was able to make the throw a little bit more quickly than he might have otherwise. Nice defensive play.
We're in the top of the 6th inning, and YD is up on Brewster 3-0. It's been a low-scoring game here at Stony Brook Field as Drew Mendoza digs in. First pitch to Mendoza again. This is down low, counts 1-0. Mendoza playing first today. Saw him struck out in the 2nd inning and then had an infield pop fly. We've seen a couple of those for the YD Red Sox as the next pitch from Miller misses inside and low, counts 2-0 on Mendoza. Plays at Florida State and is majoring in math, so he can probably help us out a little bit here. All journalism majors, we don't know much about that. The 2-0 hit high as Justin Coons takes off his mask, but that one fouled off above the press box. Counts now 2-1 on Mendoza. Mendoza batted .270 for Florida State this year, played in 43 games, had 40 hits, including 9 doubles and 10 home runs as he waves at the next pitch he sees, moves the count to 2-2. Troy Miller evening the count there. Mendoza takes a deep breath, then steps back into the batter's box. No runners on and 1 out for the YD Red Sox. Here comes the 2-2. This one again fouled out on the third base line, so Mendoza stays alive in this one. Miller getting a taste of this YD Red Sox team that likes to make pitchers work. They like to foul off a lot of tough pitches. Here comes the 2-2. This one chopped, but called foul, so the count's now remains 2-2. Getting some new balls from the Brewster bat boy is the home plate ump, and we'll do it again. Mendoza again working this at bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. This one a breaking ball, again fouled out. This time on the third base side. As Miller's now thrown 7 pitches in this at-bat, and the count's just 2-2. Here comes the pitch. This one hit high. Hunter Bishop moving from center field, moving to his left, and then Devin Foyle will run in and make the grab. And that will be 2 up and 2 down for Troy Miller.
That was another kind of scary moment there. Foyle had to put a little extra oomph in his step as he was charging to grab that baseball. The wind is playing tricks on the ball here in this ball game. Reminds me when I was back in Missouri in the spring when the changing seasons brought in a lot of weather, and every time there was a pop fly, people would have to look around, kind of run around at the baseball.
And here comes Nick Quintana up for the YD Red Sox with nobody on and 2 outs. Here comes the first pitch. That one misses outside. From Troy Miller, counts now 1-0. Miller has now thrown 6 balls compared to 8 strikes in his debut for the Brewster Whitecaps. Here comes the 1-0. That one again misses outside. Counts now 2-0 on Quintana. Quintana 0 for 2 on the day in the 2nd inning. Popped up another infield pop-up to Zach Hagan at third. And then in the 4th, had a pop fly to Hunter Bishop in center. Here comes the 2-0. That one misses upstairs. Counts now 3-0 on Quintana. YD trying to get their first base runner of this inning. We're in the top of the 6th, and YD leads 3-0 on Brewster. Here comes the 3-0. This one hit high into left field. Devin Foyle again moving in, makes the grab, And that will be 3 up, 3 down for Troy Miller in his debut for the Brewster Whitecaps. YD still leads 3-0. We're through 5.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu. Connor Smith takes the first pitch he sees from Gazzado. That one misses below the knees. Counts now 0-1. That one was a strike. Here comes the 0-1. This one hit to Horner over at second. Was able to field it. Makes a throw over to first, and Connor Smith goes down in this bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, we've sure seen a lot of guys square around a bunt so far in this game. The rule did Steve Williams that Smith offered with that bunt attempt. So we've seen the squeeze play from YD. We saw 3 bunts in a row from them. I guess Smith trying to get in on some of the action unsuccessfully.
So now it's going to be the leadoff hitter Nick Dunn up to bat for Brewster. He'll take the first pitch for a strike as that one paints the outside corner for Quezada. It's the bottom of the 6th inning and Quezada's still in the game. His team's up 3-0 over Brewster as he'll miss on the inside corner this time. Count moves to 1-1 on leadoff hitter Nick Dunn. Dunn 0 for 2 on the day as he'll swing and foul this one behind him. Counts now 1-2 on Dunn. He popped up to short in the first at-bat in the first inning and then grounded out in a 1-3 play in the 3rd inning. Here comes the 1-2. This one misses in the dirt, moves the count to 2-2 on Dunn. As we talked about before, he's on a 14-game hitting streak is Nick Dunn. About halfway through the season, Jamie Shevchik had a conversation with Dunn. He was the Offensive Player of the Year for the Brewster Whitecaps last year, an All-Star, as the 2-2 is chopped foul on the first base line. And since then, really since halfway through the season, Nick Dunn has just been unstoppable for this Brewster Whitecaps team and has really turned into a leader, although he's not, doesn't say much, but leads by example. Batting .336 for this Whitecap squad. The 2-2, this one finds the gap, and once again, Nick Dunn gets on for the Brewster Whitecaps. That one right in between the second baseman and the shortstop. Seems like that's where the 3 Brewster hits have gone. And Nick Dunn gets on, a runner aboard for Christian Molfetta. You could hear the Whitecaps dugout kind of explode there for Nick Dunn. They're happy for their teammate now on a 15-game hitting streak as Christian Molfetta digs in with Nick Dunn at first and 1 out for the Brewster Whitecaps. Here comes the pitch from Quezada. That one misses outside. Counts now 1-0 on Melfetta. Melfetta's grounded out twice in this game, in the first and the fourth. A 6-3 ground out in the first, and then ground out right to the first baseman, Mendoza, in the third, as he'll drop one in. Another base hit. That one over the bag. Dropped in right in front of center fielder Isbell, who was on the move, and Molfetta takes first, Nick Dunn takes second, and now Hunter Bishop up to bat.
Well, this is how you come back from a deficit. Just put the bat on the ball, and now with a 3-hitter coming up, they've set the table up quite nicely, have the Whitecaps.
Hunter Bishop digging in on the left side for the Whitecaps. Struck out in the first inning and grounded out in a 4-3 play in his last at-bat, although Horner kind of robbed him of a base hit. Horner just made a nice play. That one looked like it was going to find the gap in between first and second, but Hunter Bishop was retired in that one. Counts 1-0 on the center fielder for Brewster. Pitch from Cazada misses down low. Counts now 2-0. Runners on first and second. It's Molfetta at first, Dunn at second. So a runner in scoring position for the Whitecaps. They trail 3-0 in the bottom of the sixth. As Cazada throws to second, Nick Dunn just took a little bit of a lead there and had to dive back in order to be safe at the bag, but he is indeed safe. And the count's still 2-0 on Hunter Bishop. Here comes the pitch. This one fouled out by Bishop, moves the count to 2-1. Hunter Bishop is the tying run for the Brewster Whitecaps, who have only had 4 hits today, as Christian Molfetta and Nick Dunn just had back-to-back hits, which are half of the Brewster hits, and we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. As Hunter Bishop just got hit in the elbow, it looks like. That one looks like it just grazed by him, but he will take first, and it will be bases loaded for Julian Infante.
Big spot here for Infante. I want to talk about a guy who's been good in the clutch for Brewster this year. This is the guy, I want to talk about him and Dunn and the rest of those guys on this team. And for Brewster, we don't know how much time is going to be left in this ball game. I mean, we talked about the threat of darkness possibly cutting this game short. We're in the 6th inning. Makes it that much more important for the Whitecaps to try and put across a run or two.
And Julian Infante is up to bat. As the first pitch from Infante, this one hit hard, foul on the third base line, right above the bullpen for the Brewster Whitecaps. A good swing there from Infante. That one just didn't stay fair. Counts now 0-1. And again, bases loaded, 1 out, and a runner on third. So even a pop fly would put Nick Dunn across, presumably, as Chandler Taylor, it looks like, is going to be pinch hitting as Infante swings and misses at the next pitch he sees. Counts now 0-2 on Infante. So Chandler Taylor on deck for the Brewster Whitecaps, pinch hitting for Darius Hill, presumably now in right field for the Whitecaps as well. That's a guy you want up. Back-to-back home runs in the last 2 games for Chandler Taylor, both with his team down. So Chandler Taylor knows how to bring his team back into games, as Julian Infante, though, he's the guy up to bat. The next pitch misses upstairs, counts now 1-2 on Infante. Back-to-back singles got Brewster on first and second, and then Hunter Bishop was just hit in the elbow by a pitch, so the bases are again loaded. Here comes the 1-2. A swing and a miss from Infante. A big strikeout there from Cazada as Julian Infante strolls back, nods his head at Chandler Taylor, knowing this is a very big at-bat for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a pinch hitter wearing number 46 from the University of Alabama.
Chandler Taylor, as I mentioned, 2 home runs in a row, 9 on the year for the Brewster Whitecaps. Taking a couple practice swings and digging in for the first time today. Here comes the pitch. That one in for a strike from Cazada. Counts 0-1 on Taylor. There is 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 6th, and the bases are loaded as Whitey is up 3-0 on the Brewster Whitecaps. Here comes the 0-1. This one misses in the dirt. A nice stop there from Trainer, who took off his mask, looked over at Nick Dunn, who thought about it for a second, but Trainer was able to knock it right in front of him. Counts 1-1 on Chandler Taylor. A huge spot here for Brewster. As Quezada stares in, gets ready for the 1-1. Here it comes, a swing and a miss there from Chandler. Taylor moves the count to 1-2. Taylor takes a deep breath and then walks out of the batter's box, fixing his gloves a little bit. It's a tough spot to come in and pinch hit in this kind of situation, but Chandler Taylor loves tough spots. Here comes the 1-2. This one again misses in the dirt. Count moves to 2-2. Can feel the tension here at Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps fans want to see a run come home in this inning. The bases loaded. Here comes the 2-2. Chandler Taylor hits one on the first base side. This one called foul, though, by Rick Del Vecchio over at first, the first base ump today. So Chandler Taylor will do it again. Count still 2-2. Quezada staring in, trying to get out of a jam. Really the only one he's been in this game. Here comes a 2-2. A swing and a miss from Chandler Taylor. A huge strikeout there from Quezada, and that will end the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts with the bases loaded, and the Brewster Whitecaps leave 3 stranded, no runs come home off of 2 hits. The score is still Whitey 3, Brewster 0 after 6 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field. We're starting the 7th inning. The Whitecaps trail YD 3-0. We have a number of defensive changes for Brewster. I'll just give you the defense again in a second. Leading off is Connor Kaiser of his shortstop from Vandy, and the first pitch to the righty from Troy Dixon is hit hard into left field for a base hit. So a hard hit line drive on the first pitch from Kaiser, and Costas has trouble fielding it, and it goes all the way to the wall. Kaiser's heading into second. He's motoring into third base now, and will get there safely. Well, that was one of the defensive changes I was going to let you know about. Marty Costas had some trouble going over to get that baseball. It rolled all the way to the base of the wall, and so Kaiser is able to turn a single into a 3-base hit. We'll see how that's scored exactly. There's going to be an error on Costas. I would think that's a single and then an E7. The new defense for Brewster. Costas is in left. Bishop is still in center. Taylor replaces still in right as expected. Kyle Datris is in for Gahagan at third base. A.J. Graffinino is now playing short instead of Connor Smith. and Mickey Gasper is behind the plate instead of Justin Coons. Malfetta and Infante are still on the right side of the infield for Brewster. The infield is in for Darren Trainer, and the pitch to Trainer is hit hard into left center field. Coming in is the center fielder Hunter Bishop, but he'll play it on a hop. It's a base hit. Scoring from third base is Connor Kaiser. It's a ribby single for Darren Trainer. RBI number 5 for him this season, and just like that, it's now 4-0 Red Sox.
Well, that's where that error comes back to haunt them. And I mean, a triple to lead off any inning is going to be tough, but especially when it came the way it did. As we talked about, Marty Costas just kind of lost handle of it. He just got in the game, so kind of a tough way to start the day for Marty Costas.
Yeah, the very first pitch. Here comes the pitch to Nico Horner. He first pitch swinging, ground ball to short. Scooped up by Graffinino to second for 1. Over to first base. It's in time for the double play. A terrific scoop from Julian Infante to pick that one up from the dirt after a bit of a wayward throw from the second baseman Christian Malfetta. And that's a quick 2 outs. A very quick moving inning here in the top of the 7th, but there are 2 gone and now nobody on base. Troy Miller is still on the mound for the Whitecaps here. Entered the game after 5 strong innings from Drew Revenue. Gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned on 5 hits, 2 walks and 3 Ks in those 5 frames. Here's Kyle Isbell. The pitch to the lefty misses down and in, so it's 1-0 on Isbell. Isbell reached on a bunt single and scored in the 3rd. He walked his last time up in the 5th inning. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit hard out to right field. A high fly ball moving over is Chandler Taylor. This one's heading toward the foul line, and it lands just foul. Maybe a foot foul down the right field line. Taylor was hustling to it but couldn't get there in time. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike now on Kyle Isbell. Isbell, a UNLV running Rebel, as you mentioned, Mora. Originally from Fontana, California, out of Etiwanda High School in Etiwanda, California. 1-1 is the count as Isbell makes his way back. He was hustling down the line after getting the bat on the ball there, so he does finally make his way back to the circle. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Taking a deep breath is Miller. Here comes the pitch. It's hit hard on the ground, and diving is the second baseman Malfetta, but it's past him into right center field for a base hit. Another hard piece of hitting. YD has been very aggressive against Miller in this 7th frame, and so far it's worked out well for him. The 3rd single of this inning, and there's a runner aboard with 2 men out now. The YD ahead 4-0 on that RBI single from Darren Trainer. Now the lefty swinging Alfonso Rivas will dig in. Isbell 10 out of 12 stealing bases so far. This year comes the 1-1 pitch. It misses up high, so that wasn't the 1-1 pitch. The count is now 1-0 on Alfonso Rivas. They hadn't reset the scoreboard here, and I was tricked. Rivas had a ribby double in the 3rd inning, his first time up. Also had another play that allowed a run to score, an E5 in the 5th that brought a run in, and the throw down to first base, just getting back in time, is Isbell over at first. Nice move there from Miller. Kind of gave a second look to Rick Del Vecchio, the first base ump. Count still 1 ball and no strikes on Alfonso Rivas. Miller holds the set, and here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's fouled away toward the left side behind the plate. Makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Now on Rivas. Rivas is originally from Chula Vista, California. Had a terrific season as a 2-way player for the Arizona Wildcats this past spring. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch. Here it comes. It misses up high. So the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Now on Alfonso Rivas. It's funny how it seemed like YD was being pretty patient early on in this ball game against Revenue, and here in this 7th inning they kind of flipped a switch. First pitch swinging against Miller. Here comes the 2-1. It's grounded foul right side. Dodging that one was Tyler Gillum, the YD first base coach. Gonna have to do a little skip to my Lou as that ball just raced behind him at his feet. So it's 2-2 now on Alfonso Rivas. Checking the runner at first base is Miller. Now holds the set with the count 2-2. And here comes the pitch. It's hit hard down the right field line. It's a fair ball rolling into the right field corner. This one might get out of play as the right fielder Taylor chases after it. It does get out of play, so staying at third by rule is the runner Kyle Isbell. Moving to second with a double is Rivas, and it's second and third now for Carlos Cortez. YD has a chance to break this game open a bit.
That one was really hard hit, and we may have seen another run come through if it hadn't gone out of play, because that was a tough spot there for Chandler Taylor to make that play right in the corner.
Mickey Gasper, the new catcher for Brewster, will go out and have a chat with Miller. Kind of odd for Miller in your first appearance as a Brewster Whitecap, and you're getting a look at both of the primary catchers. Had Justin Coons out there in his 1-2-3 sixth inning, and now Mickey Gasper behind the plate. Holding the set is Miller, second and third, 2 men out. It's 4-0 YD, top of the seventh. The pitch. So slow breaking ball that misses outside to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Dare I say the sun is coming out just a little bit. It's been a gloomy, overcast day this entire ball game, but it just got a little bit brighter in the past couple of pitches. Here comes the 1-0. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. The count is 1 ball and 1 strikes on Cortez. Cortez still trying to get on for his first time. He's 0-for-3. Had a couple of fly balls in his last 2 appearances. Grounded out his first time. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch from Miller. Here it comes. Another breaking ball. Just misses up. That was close. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. One of those that kind of goes around the strike zone. That curveball from Miller, who holds the set with the count 2-1. Second and third, 2 out the pitch. Breaking ball that misses low in the dirt. Blocked nicely there by Mickey Gasper. They check to see if he went, and they say that he did. So says the umpire, Larry Rosenberg, who's positioned in front of the second base bag, kind of to the pitcher Miller's right. He elected to bring him up for the swing, so 2-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. In there called, strike 3 at the knees, and that retires the side in the top of the 7th inning. But the Red Sox do tack on another run on the ribby single from Darren Trainer. They get that run on 4 hits, and they leave 2 runners on. At the end of 6.5, it's time to stretch here in Brewster. The Whitecaps trailing the YD Red Sox 4-0. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster, where the home team is trailing the Red Sox by a score of 4-0 as we start things off in the bottom of the 7th. It was a terrific performance for Andrew Quezada, but his day is done. He has been pulled for Walcheski, Jacob Walcheski, the right-hander. Quezada had, as I mentioned, a great day on the mound in his first Cape League start for YD. Went 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed. He did walk 1 and struck out 6, including the final 2 hitters he faced with the bases loaded for the Whitecaps in that 6th inning. It'll be Kyle Datris to lead things off. He replaced Zach Gehagen in the infield before that top of the 7th, part of a number of defensive changes for the Brewster Whitecaps. Marty Costas is on deck. He came in for Foyle out in the left. Datris is a right-handed hitter against the righty Walcheski. The pitch misses down and away to start things off, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Walcheski is ready. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It misses up and away. Walcheski is a Binghamton Bearcat. SUNY Binghamton in upstate New York. He's a rising senior, originally from Whitehall High School in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. 2-0 pitch on the way, and it hits him right in the hip. It hit Kyle Datris. He winces, but heads over to first base. And the Whitecaps have the leadoff runner on to start off the bottom of the 7th. Maybe not the least painless way for Kyle Datris to get aboard, but he does get on as Rick Del Vecchio, the first base ump, and first base coach Will Delgado are giving him a look, but I think he's going to be all right to continue. Of course, in this situation where you're heading in and you've already got the playoff spot clinched, you always want to play it safe with these players, but looks like Datris is going to be all right, and he will soldier on. Marty Costas, as I mentioned, will now dig in for the first time for the Brewster Whitecaps. Costas this year hitting .266, a .417 OBP, 5 homers, and 19 runs batted in. He's a righty hitter. Here comes the pitch. It misses down and away in the dirt. Nice block from Trainer, the catcher. So the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Costas, a lot of times when he's put in the lineup by Jamie Shevchik, is there for some pop, something that can inspire the rest of his teammates, kind of jolt an offense. That's something the Whitecaps need right now. No runs on 4 hits for them. They trail 4-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Holding the set is Walcheski. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It misses down and away again, and again another nice block from Trainer, keeping that one in front of him. Datris thought about perhaps testing him, but decided to stay where he was at. So 2-0 now the count on Marty Costas. Walcheski had a .319 ERA for the Binghamton Bearcats this past spring. This year with the Red Sox, he's got a .476 earned run average. This is appearance number 7 for him. He's thrown 5 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed in those 5 2/3, walked 2, and struck out 8 batters on the Cape this year. Righty to righty, waiting on a 2-0 pitch. Here it comes. Just misses outside. In the judgment of Steve Williams, a fastball there from Walcheski, but just missed. So it's 3-0 now on Marty Costas. Datris is aboard first base with no one out. The pitch in there for a called strike at the knees. So it's 3-1 now on Costas. That pitch looked pretty similar to the previous one we saw. You always see the strike zone get perhaps a little bit bigger with the count, 3 balls and no strikes as it was there. It's 3-1 now. Here comes the pitch. It's hit hard on the ground to second base. Fielded over there by Horner. He flips to short for 1. On to first base. To low throw, and it's not in time. If that throw had been on line, they may have been able to double off Marty Costas. It was a good pick by the first baseman Mendoza, but it was to no avail. So it's just the fielder's choice. They get the out at second base. Costas now replaces Datris on the base paths, and there's 1 man out here in the bottom of the 7th. The Whitecaps trailing in this ball game 4-0, bottom of the 7th inning. And now Mickey Gasper will dig in for the first time. First time in a while that Mickey Gasper has dug in for the Whitecaps. The pitch just misses inside. Gasper took the night off last night in Bourne after the Whitecaps clinched a playoff spot by beating the Wareham Gatemen the night before that. Costas is on first base with 1 man out. Gasper hitting from the left side, a switch hitter. The pitch is in there for a called strike, painted the outer corner. So 1 ball and 1 strike to count on Gasper. The numbers for him this season are terrific for Mickey Gasper. .301 average, .432 OBP, 5 home runs, and 28 ribbies. Also walked 27 times, the most on this team. 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air towards shallow left field. Coming in is a left fielder, Alfonso Rivas, moving into foul ground now, and that one winds up foul. The wind just took that baseball and pushed it foul. In a vacuum there, that baseball probably comes down in fair territory in left field, but that ball, once it got up there, just kept getting pushed toward foul territory and wound up out of play toward the Brewster bullpen on the left side. So perhaps a lucky break for Mickey Gasper. He now faces a 1-2 count against Walcheski, with 1 man out and a runner on first for the Whitecaps, who trail in this ball game 4-0 in the bottom of inning number 7. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Just gets a piece and fouls it back behind the plate. So we'll do it again with the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gasper, I know, had a bit of a layoff, but he's getting right back into his old routine, fouling off difficult pitches. 1-2 the count. Walcheski staring in, now comes set with the glove at his belt buckle. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. Gasper was out in front of that pitch that was down below. Venegas looked pretty frustrated as he starts walking back to the Whitecaps dugout on the third base side. First strikeout for Walcheski, the first out that he's recorded since that double play fielder's choice. And now it's going to be A.J. Graffinino digging in for the Whitecaps.
Well, that's 7 Brewster strikeouts and just 1 walk today. So we've seen that happen a couple times this season where they veered away from their typical game.
The pitch to Graffinino misses low. It's 1-0.
And it seems like in all of those games, the score has not turned out in Brewster's favor.
You're right, Moore. That ratio really has changed. It used to be a lot of both for Brewster, and now it seems like a lot of Ks and fewer walks. The pitch misses up on a breaking ball, makes the count 2-0. That one didn't bite, obviously, as it was left up above the zone. Graffinino, he too came in for defense. He replaced Connor Smith over at shortstop. It seems like Jamie Shevchik is kind of bringing in his starters as a sort of second unit in this ball game. Not the first time we've seen a platoon swap from Shev, and probably not the last either. Here comes the 2-0. It misses outside. So the count 3 balls and no strikes. And it looks like he's not done making changes because Michael Curry is digging in on deck. The DH Dunn is due up. So I would think that with Dunn's hitting streak intact after the single in the 6th inning, Curry's going to go up and take his hacks in this frame if Graffinino can reach. The pitch to the lefty just misses low for ball 4. So Graffinino does reach. And with first and second and 2 men out, Michael Curry will make his way to the plate. So there's a walk, Maura.
Yep.
They can hear you.
I'm serious when I say that. I've said that before, and it seems like they always prove me wrong. Every time I make a statement, they do exactly the opposite of what I just said.
So here is Michael Curry. The numbers on him so far this year, hitting .272, but a .439 on base percentage for Michael Curry. He's got 1 home run and 11 runs batted in, also homered in the All-Star game. First and second for Brewster, 2 men out. We are in the bottom of inning number 7, and the Whitecaps are trailing 4-0. Walcheski holds the set, checks the runner at second base, Costas, who's dancing a little bit out there. He's going for third. The pitch misses low, and Costas slides in without a throw safely with a stolen base at third. Marty Costas gets stolen base. Well, we'll see what that number is. Costas has 7 stolen bases now on the season. So it's first and third with 2 men out. And we're waiting on an 0-1 pitch to Michael Curry hitting from the right side. Walcheski now gazes over at first base. Graffinino's got speed there, too. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike at the knees. 1-1 the count on Michael Curry. Walcheski only had 17 walks in 62 innings pitched this past spring for SUNY Binghamton. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It misses down and away. 2-1 is the count on Michael Curry. The Whitecaps trailing in this ball game 4-0, bottom of the 7th. Curry has struggled a bit recently with getting the bat squarely on the ball. We've seen him get jammed a lot over the course of his past few appearances. 2-1 pitch. Misses inside. Just nearly avoided that one, did Curry. And the count is 3-1. Kind of spun around and now flashes a smile as he gets ready to dig back in. Already seen one Brewster batter get plunked, and Kyle Datris, who then was out on a fielder's choice, cut out of the equation at second base. 3-1 the count. First and third, 2 men out. The pitch to the right-hander. Misses low for ball 4. Back-to-back Brewster Whitecap walks have loaded the bases once again, the second straight frame that the Whitecaps have loaded the bases. They failed to score in that 6th inning. Of course, they failed to score in every frame. It's a 4-0 game. And now it'll be up for Christian Malfetta. Malfetta, one of the few members of the starting lineup who's still in the ball game for Brewster. There are only 3 of them. It's him, Bishop, and Infante. They're coincidentally perhaps hitting 2, 3, and 4 in the Whitecaps order. Malfetta's a right-handed hitter. The bases are full of Whitecaps with 2 men out. Walczewski chests the runner at second base. Here comes the pitch. It's in there for a called strike on the outer edge to the righty. The count is 0-1 on Christian Malfetta. So far from Malfetta today, he grounded out to shortstop, hit a ground ball to first, and then had a hard hit single up the middle in the 6th inning. So all in all, he's 1 for 3. Waiting on an 0-1 pitch. Here it comes from Walczewski. Breaking ball, checked his swing. It is called a ball, but they check down to first, and Delvecchio says he went. Malfetta just could not quite hold up that swing, according to Rick Delvecchio at first base, so it's 0-2. And Walczewski a strike away of doing what his predecessor, Andrew Cazada, did in getting out of a bases-loaded jam. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Walczewski. Just misses outside. The YD fans on the first base side of this infield here in Brewster were not fans of that call, but it will stand. And the count is 1-2. Brendan Nail looks like he's warming up in the pen right now for YD, the man out of Western Carolina. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch to Malfetta. Base is full with 2 men out. Here comes the pitch. It's hit on the ground softly toward the right side. The second baseman, Horner, will field it and throw to first to retire the side. So again, for the second straight frame, the Brewster Whitecaps leave the bases loaded. No runs for Brewster in this 7th inning on no hits, and may leave them loaded at the end of 7. It's 4-0 YD. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. We're starting the 8th inning in this 4-0 game. The Red Sox are on top, and it'll be Christian Koss, Drew Mendoza, and Nick Quintana due up for YD. Those are the 5, 6, and 7 hitters on Scott Pickler's lineup card against Miller, who remains on the mound for Brewster. The pitch from the right-hander to the right-hander is fouled back to the screen. Koss so far today is over 2, though he does have a walk in his first plate appearance back in the 2nd inning. Was canceled out over at second base. It was caught stealing by Justin Coons. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to the right-hander. It misses down and away, so that evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Miller, as Maura, you mentioned, is a Michigan man. Made 7 appearances for them this past spring to the tune of a 3.86 ERA. They were all out of the pen. 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball in there for a called strike 2. Sure looked like he froze Christian Koss there, did Miller. As Koss was kind of checked his swing there, but you could tell that his timing was off. He was well late on that pitch. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch, here it comes. Another breaking ball, that one laid off by Koss. It misses low. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Christian Koss. Koss, a rising sophomore from Riverside, California, went to Riverside North High School. He's a UC Irvine anteater. The 2-2 pitch is another breaking ball. That misses just off the plate outside to the righty. So that brings the count full now on Koss. Staring in is Miller. And time is now called by Koss in the batter's box. He'll adjust the old batting gloves and get back in pretty quickly with the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff from Miller. It's hit high in the air into shallow right field. Taylor will move a couple of steps in, and he makes the catch. And Christian Koss is retired via that lazy fly ball to right field. 1 gone in the 8th. Drew Mendoza due up now for YD. The Red Sox have been in control of this game since they got on the board in the 3rd inning. It was a suicide squeeze that opened the scoring. Horner was the one who laid down the bunt. Kaiser charged in to score from third. A ribby double from Alfonso Rivas made it 2-0 after the end of that 3rd inning. The pitch is in there for a called strike on the outside corner to the lefty swinging Mendoza. Counts 0-1. YD would add another run in the 5th on an E5 charge to Gehagen, who was at the time at third base, dropped a pop fly. Here comes the 0-1. It's a ground ball foul behind the plate. So it's 0-2 now on Mendoza, who is 0 for 3 so far in this ball game. YD got their 4th run in the previous frame, the top of the 7th. It was an RBI single from Darren Trainer. That did the trick for them, though they did leave runners on 2nd and 3rd in that frame against Miller. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Another breaking ball. It misses outside. The count is 1-2. Really seems like that breaking ball has been the bread and butter for Troy Miller, especially as he now enters the 2nd time through this YD lineup. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. It is just a bit inside for ball number 2. I think Miller wanted that one. Took a couple of steps closer to home plate than he typically would. Got outside the dirt and surrounding that pitching rubber. 2-2 is the count. Miller shakes off one sign from Gasper. Now gets one that he likes. Here comes the 2-2. It's hit hard but foul left side. And we'll do it again. Count 2-2. It's 4-0 YD. We are in the top of the 8th inning with the righty Mendoza digging in. Mendoza, Florida State Seminole. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball that misses outside. Again, Miller trying to place that breaking ball on the outer edge. When it's worked well, we have seen some lateral movement that's been able to kind of backdoor hitters. But we've also seen a bunch of them like that where it just kind of stays up and down. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball. Check swing on a pitch that was low. They appealed to third, and he did not go. So says Larry Rosenberg. So that's ball 4. And Mendoza works a walk, the first walk that Troy Miller has surrendered so far in his debut outing. And now it's Quintana's turn. Quintana, the man out of UNLV, he is 0 for 3 in this ball game. Flew out to left field against Troy Miller his first time up, or his last time up, excuse me, in the 6th inning. Quintana digs in from the right side, a righty hitter against the righty Miller. The pitch misses down and away and gets away from the catcher Gasper. Heading over to second base on the wild pitch is Drew Mendoza. So it's a runner in scoring position. That's a big wild pitch out of the hand of Troy Miller. Second wild pitch that we've seen for Brewster in this ball game, which is kind of unusual for them. They only had 14 coming into this game, which was tied for the lowest amount on the Cape in terms of the total output from the teams. Runner in scoring position now with one man out. And waiting on a 1-0 pitch to Quintana. Here it comes. It misses down and away. Nicely done by Gasper to block that one with his glove. Kind of forced it up into the air, but was able to corral it. 2-0 is the count. YD is ahead in this ball game, 4-0. We're in the top of inning number 8. And it looks like Austin Straub is going to mosey his way over to the mound to have a conversation with Troy Miller. Does look like there is some action out in the Brewster bullpen as a righty is warming up. It looks like that's going to be Connor McNamara who's warming for Brewster. We saw him in Wareham, the man from Marist College. And Straub will now get the conversation broken up by the home plate ump Steve Williams. Then head back to the dugout with Miller still ready to go. Count 2-0 on Quintana. We're back to losing light. We saw the sun come out a couple of innings ago and kind of gave us a little bit more light than we were used to, but now things are starting to get dark again as the sun begins to set here in this late July ball game. Waiting on a 2-0 pitch. Here it comes. And it's hit hard on the ground to shortstop. Moving to his right is a shortstop Graffinino. He scoops it up and throws to first. A nice pick by Infante, and he gets the out. At first base, there are 2 away here on the top of the 8th inning. Boy, it seems like every time Julian Infante goes out to first base, he's able to make 1 or 2 Nice little plays that helped Brewster get an out. Did one right there. That was not the best throw that Graffinino's ever tossed. It was a short hop, but Infante handled it with ease. And Quintana's retired, and now Connor Kaiser will dig in with a runner on second and 2 men out, but it looks like he'll be doing it against a new pitcher, as Jamie Shevchik has signaled to the bullpen. Looks like he's going to call on McNamara to come on and relieve Troy Miller. So Miller's day is done after 2 2/3 innings of work. It's 4-0 YD here in the top of the 8th. The runner on second and 2 men out. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Brewster. The man from Marist, the Red Fox McNamara, is on to relieve Troy Miller, and he inherits a runner on second base with 2 men out. YD is ahead 4-0 in this ball game. We're in the top of inning number 8. McNamara trying to keep this 4-run deficit right where it is. He holds the set, checks the runner at second, and deals. And the pitch misses just low to the righty swinging Connor Kaiser. Kaiser's had a great day at the plate. Had a double in the third. Came in to score on a suicide squeeze. And then singled in the 7th and came around to score in that inning as well. Waiting on a 1-0 pitch to the righty. Here it comes. It's in there for a called strike. A little slider there from McNamara. I mentioned before we went to break, McNamara made his debut in that 6-pitcher odyssey in Wareham. He came on originally to get the save, couldn't quite do it, gave up a pair of runs. 1-1 pitch, misses down and away to make the count 2-1. Eventually he was pulled with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Matt Beck was called upon to make a very dramatic strikeout of Ben Baird to end that game and give the Whitecaps their playoff berth. 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. In there for a called strike on the outside corner. McNamara originally from Scarsdale, New York. Goes to Maris College, which is in Poughkeepsie in upstate New York. Waiting on a 2-2 pitch to the righty. Checks the runner at second. Here comes the pitch. In there, called strike 3 at the knees to end the inning. Well, Connor McNamara comes on and does the job. He strikes out Connor Kaiser looking, and that retires the side in the top of the 8th. For YD, they don't get any runs. They don't get any hits either. They leave 1 runner on in the top of the 8th. At the end of 7.5 innings of play, the Whitecaps trail YD 4-0. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. The Sacred Cod Tavern at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is a quintessential New England dining experience for lunch or dinner, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. Some more defensive changes to let you know about. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and the Whitecaps are trailing 4-0. There's a new player on the field for the Whitey Red Sox. Luke Miller is out in right field. Cortez, who was in right, moves to left. Rivas, who was in left, moves to first base. And Mendoza, the first baseman, is removed from the game. And hitting in the 6th spot for him will be Luke Miller. So it all comes full circle for YD. And there's a new pitcher as well. It's Hunter Parsons, the righty out of Maryland. And he will start things off by facing Hunter Bishop. The pitch to a lefty hitter is up high for ball number 1. Parsons replaces Walczewski, who went 1 inning, loaded the bases without allowing a hit, and then was able to work out of it without allowing a run. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss from Hunter Bishop to make the count 1-1. Looked like it had a little bit of run on that pitch. Parsons does have some two-seam run on his fastball, which will be in the low 90s. A rising junior from Fruitland, Maryland. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch to Hunter Bishop. And here it comes. It's hit a high chopper toward the right side. It gets foul and right into the hands of Whitecaps first base coach Will Delgado. 1-2 is the count on Bishop. So far today for Bishop, he has reached base once. It was hit by a pitch. Has a strikeout and a ground ball as well to his credit so far in this game. Parsons deals 1-2. Check the swing on a pitch that was low and doesn't look like they're going to appeal. So it's 2-2 on Hunter Bishop. Parsons so far this year on Cape Cod, this is appearance number 12 for him. He's thrown 11 innings pitched and has a .572 earned run average. 2-2 pitch is hit well into center field. Moving to his left is the center fielder Kyle Isbell. He's still on the run and he makes the catch. Nice job by Kyle Isbell. Got a great jump on that hard hit liner off the bat of Hunter Bishop and was able to make the play with ease for out number 1 of the bottom of the 8th. The Whitecaps are trailing 4-0 here in this bottom of the 8th frame. Now it's Julian Infante's turn. Infante was one of the 2 Whitecaps that came up with the bases loaded against Andrew Quezada in the 6th inning. The Whitecaps are on a streak here. They've left the bases loaded in the 6th and 7th frames here in the bottom of the 8th. Pitch to the righty. Infante is bunted toward the third base side. Charging as the third baseman Koss. He will not be able to get it, and Infante reaches on a bunt single. How do you like that? Julian Infante with his 2nd hit of the game. The first one was as hard hit as you can have it, straight up the middle, and that one was a little doinker on a bunt, and both of them wind up with singles. So Infante is aboard with 1 man out.
We've seen a lot of bunts today for both teams, but this one the first successful one for Brewster, and Infante doesn't have a ton of speed there, but was able to just lay down a nice bunt on the third base line, and that gets the job done and gets a runner on for Chandler Taylor.
Here is Taylor hitting from the left side. Pitch misses low to make the count 1-0. Taylor came in for his first at-bat in that 6th frame. Infante struck out with the bases loaded, and then Taylor came in for his first at-bat, kind of like a pinch-hitting appearance, and he too struck out. A terrific way for Quezada to finish his 6 shutout innings of work. 1-0 pitch is a ground ball foul toward the right side, out of play. Taylor cringing a bit after hitting that foul ball and asked the home plate ump Steve Williams if it was in the zone or not. Now nods his head as he receives his answer. 1-1 is the count. Infante is on first base with 1 man out. Holding the set with the glove at his belt buckle is Hunter Parsons. 1-1 pitch. Misses outside. So the count 2-1, and jogging out to chat with Parsons is the catcher Darren Trainer. Does look like there is some more action out there in the Whitey bullpen. We saw Brendan Nail warming up there earlier. Now it looks like it is still Brendan Nail out there. As I focus up the old binoculars, here's the 2-1 offering to Chandler Taylor. And it's hit high in the air to right field. Moving back is the right fielder Miller. Still going back toward the track, toward the wall, and he will make the catch at the warning track right up against the wall. Infante is heading back to first base. He will get there in time without a throw. A bit of a strange route to that ball from Miller, and that looked like a baseball that the wind just took and pushed back over. Miller was maybe a step or 2 from the outfield wall when he got that. Chandler Taylor very nearly had another home run. but it is instead allowed out number 2. And now it's Kyle Datris' turn. Datris was hit by a pitch his first time up to lead off the 7th inning. He too came in for defense. Pitch to the righty. Is hit on the ground, third base. Nice diving stop by the third baseman, Koss. Will go to second for the out, and that retires the side. Nicely done by Koss to slide down on one knee and grab that one. That retires the side here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Whitecaps get no runs on 1 hit, and they leave 1 runner on. We're through 8 here at Stony Brook Field. Brewster trails YD 4-0. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field. We're starting the 9th inning here. And a bit of a congratulations here to everybody involved. We had the threat of rain, we have the threat of darkness, and despite all that, we're going to play 9 here tonight. McNamara is still on the mound for Brewster, and he deals a pitch up and in to Darren Trainer, who's leading things off for YD, the catcher for the Red Sox. Trainer had a RBI single his last time up that made it 4-0. That's where it stands right now, 4-0 YD. The 1-0 pitch misses down and away, so it's 2-0 on Darren Trainer. McNamara got a big strikeout of Connor Kaiser when he was called upon with 2 outs and a runner on second in the 8th. Left that runner stranded. The pitch is a high chopper left side foul. Count 2-1 on Darren Trainer. Trainer goes to Lewis Clark State College, which is not to be confused with Lewis and Clark State. They're entirely different. He took a medical red shirt last year for them. 2-1 pitch is a ground ball foul just dunked off of somebody, whether it was Taylor's feet or Gasper's shin guards, and it rolled in front of home plate. Play waved dead by the home plate umpire, Steve Williams. 2-2 the count on Darren Trainer. McNamara working quickly. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Cut on a miss for strike 3. Darren Trainer swung and missed at a slider, and McNamara has 2 strikeouts in the 2 batters that he's faced in this ballgame. For McNamara, those were his first 2 strikeouts on McCabe League this year. Did not strike out a player in his appearance in Wareham to start off his tenure with Brewster in this summer season. Here's Horner. The pitch to the righty is in there for a called strike on the outer edge on an opening fastball from Connor McNamara. And here comes the pitch. Horner takes the pitch low to make the count 1-1. Horner so far is 1-for-3. Did have a squeeze bunt that drove in a run in the 3rd. 1-1 pitch misses outside. So it's 2-1. McNamara is really working quickly. You kind of get the sense that he's finding his groove, something he couldn't really find in Wareham in his first appearance. Looking much better today. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Just misses outside. So says Steve Williams. So 3-1 is the count. An important call that. 2-2 and 3-1, very different from a pitcher's perspective. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's a high chopper left side. The shortstop Graffinino will field it and throw across to first base. It's a short hop, and he's safe at first. Another very close play, and Graffinino had kind of a tough situation there. That was a high chopper right toward him. He kind of had a choice whether he would charge it and have to reach up to grab it, and instead he decided to stay back and use his quick hands to try and get the throw off, but it wasn't a very good throw. It's going to be scored an infield hit, and Horner, who is pesky to deal with on the base pass, is aboard first base. As Kyle Isbell, the center fielder, will now dig in. McNamara is staring in. He holds the set, and here comes the pitch. It's outside to make the count 1-0. We really are running out of daylight here. The sun has almost entirely set on this overcast night, and you have to imagine that if Brewster were to make a miracle comeback in the ninth and tie it, extra innings probably wouldn't happen. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Misses outside. Of course, the Whitecaps are not immune to making comebacks. I remember when we were here against Harwich when the Whitecaps were trailing 10-2 at the 7th inning stretch and came back to win in 8. 11-10, that Marty Costas 3-run home run capping off that victory. The pitch to the lefty is in there for a strike on the inside corner to make the count 2-1 on Horner. If you're wondering, Marty Costas, speaking of him, is due up in the bottom of the ninth to lead things off for Brewster. It's Costas, Gasper, and Graffinino. And then if anybody gets on Curry for the Whitecaps, the lineup has kind of been shaken up by a bunch of defensive replacements, but those are three of the best hitters on this Whitecaps team due up. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Runner going for second. The pitch is a ground ball left side. Nice play moving to his left to scoop it up by Datris, the third baseman, and he throws to first for the out. Terrific job by Datris. He knew that the shortstop hole had been vacated by A.J. Graffinino, who was heading to second base to try and cover the runner Horner, and Datris moved to his left. He fielded it on the backhand and threw across for out number 2. Horner does move over to second on the play. And now it's Alfonso Rivas' turn. Rivas hitting from the left side. Has only been retired once. He struck out in the first inning, then a ribby double, reached on an error that scored a run, and then another double. The pitch to the Arizona Wildcat is in there for a strike. Rivas, a lefty hitter. Count 0-1. It's 4-0. YD on top. We're in the top of inning number 9. Holding the set is McNamara. And checks the runner at second. 0-1 pitch. Fouled away left side. So it's 0-2, and if McNamara can get his third strikeout, he'll be out of this top of the 9th inning. Rivas digging back in. Horner aboard second base with 2 men out, an 0-2 count. McNamara shakes off one sign, now gets the one he likes from Mickey Gasper. He holds the set, the 0-2 pitch. In there, called strike 3, inside corner to retire the side in the top of the 9th inning. Rivas took a quizzical look and now flashes a smile towards Steve Williams behind the plate. And that is strikeout number 3 in 5 hitters for McNamara. An impressive performance for him. No runs to hit and 1 left on in the top of the 9th for the Red Sox. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Again, it'll be Costas, Gasper, and Graffinino due up for the Whitecaps as they try to come back from a 4-0 deficit. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. We're going to the bottom of the ninth here in Brewster. The Whitecaps trying to rally from a 4-0 deficit, and Marty Costas, the man who has been possibly the biggest clutch home run hitter for the Whitecaps all season, will lead things off. Parsons is still on the mound for YD. The pitch from the righty to the righty misses outside. It got away from the catcher trainer. That was outside and low. So the count is 1-0. Costas came in for defense in the 7th inning. He reached on a fielder's choice in the bottom half of that frame, but was left stranded on third base after stealing third. Whitecaps have left 9 runners on in this game. They trail 4-0. The pitch to Costas is hit hard. Ground ball through the middle. It's going to get into center field for a base hit. The shortstop Kaiser did his best to hustle after it, but it got into center, and so Marty Costas does his job. He gets aboard. The Whitecaps have the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the 9th. YD scored a pair in the 3rd inning on a squeeze play and a ribby double from Rivas. They added one in the 5th on a Zach Yahagan error where he dropped a pop fly, and then one came in the 7th on an RBI single from Darren Trainer. Now Mickey Gasper will dig in for Brewster. Gasper hitting from the left side against the righty Hunter Parsons. And the Maryland Terrapin holds the set. Here comes the pitch. In there for a called strike. Nicely placed breaking ball on the outer edge. A gutsy first pitch makes the count 0-1 on Gasper. Gasper struck out swinging his first time up in the 7th inning. After that second unit came in, 5 different substitutions for Coach Shevchik in the 7th. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It misses down and in, and it hit him. Looked like that clipped Costas' elbow, and he will reach first base. Costas looking fine. That one might have gotten a piece of the elbow guard. In any case, it's now first and second for the Whitecaps with nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's our shortstop.
And I know maybe Marty or Mickey Gasper wasn't trying to get hit in that situation, but that's what you got to do, what Costas and Gasper have done in the bottom of the 9th. A lot of times guys will want to put big swings on it to try and get an extra base hit. Here, your job is to set the table. Graffinino is up now. They got 2 runners on. If Graffinino can come and get on base here, Michael Curry is on deck, and he has popped to his bat. He would be up as the tying run. And that's your job in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's one of the core things about baseball, when you know exactly what you need in the bottom of the 9th. 4-0 is the score. The Red Sox are ahead. First and second, no one out. Graffinino is a lefty hitter, and he walked his first time in the 7th inning. Parsons holds the set. And here comes the pitch. Breaking ball, strike 1. Looked like a very similar pitch to the one that he started Gasper off with. Maybe that one got a little bit more of the plate. But Graffinino, just like Gasper, took it for a strike. 0-1 is the count. Parsons holding the set again. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a ground ball sloughed to the left side. The third baseman, Kos, charges, throws to second for the out, and gets it. That's the only out they get. Interesting decision there from Kos. He goes and gets Gasper off the base paths. Costas does move over to third on the play, and now it'll be first and third for Michael Curry. He will not be the tying run.
And by getting Gasper out, they left the 2 fastest runners, probably, AJ Graffinino and Marty Costas, of the 3 of them on the base path. So interesting there, too, because AJ Graffinino is a very speedy guy, plays shortstop for the Whitecaps.
It does, however, preserve the force at second if you want to try and turn 2, and Curry is a guy who can be doubled up. Pitch to the righty is another breaking ball for strike number 1. It's the same pitch that he's used to Gasper, Graffinino, and now Curry. A first pitch breaking ball just dropped in there. He's ahead in the count, 0-1. Christian Malfetta is on deck for the Whitecaps. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Check swing on a pitch down and away. Everybody will stay put as it got away from the catcher trainer a bit. Moved over to his right to grab it while whipping off his mask. The count is 0-2. So I guess they ruled that he went around. He sure did. Just checked his swing and went around. So it's 0-2 on Curry. 1 man out. Whitecaps have runners on first and third. We're in the bottom of the 9th, and the Red Sox lead 4-0. The pitch to Curry. Just misses outside on a fastball. 1-2 the count. Parsons, no stranger to a late game appearance. That was usually when he was brought in for Maryland, late in games. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It misses low, bounces in front of Trainer. This time Graffinino rather, is heading to second, and he'll get there on the wild pitch. So that's important because that takes the double play away. Graffinino moves over on another wild pitch. We've seen a bunch of those in this ball game. 2 from each side. And now with second and third and one man out, the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Georgia Bulldog, Michael Curry. Parsons holds the set. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It misses low to make the count 3-2. A terrific job to lay that one off by Curry. That was a breaking ball that just dove at the last minute, started off knee high. And Curry decided to take it, brings the count full. Parsons staring in. Now comes set with the count 3 balls and 2 strikes on Curry. Second and third, one out. The pitch is a high chopper left side. The shortstop Kaiser will field it after waiting a while. He throws to first. It's in time for the out. Costas does come in to score, but more importantly for YD and for the Whitecaps, they get the second out over at first base. It's now 4-1 in favor of the Red Sox on an RBI ground ball from Curry. Malfetta will dig in with the runner on second base and 2 men out. That was a good decision by Kaiser. Kind of waved off the third baseman Cos as that high chopper was coming his way, saying, I got this, I can handle it. He did just that. Costas did come in to score, but the tying run remains on deck for Brewster. Right now it's Hunter Bishop on deck for the Whitecaps as Malfetta digs in. The pitch to the right-hander is a chopper left side. It goes foul down the line. Malfetta was in the starting 9 today for Brewster. This is his 5th plate appearance. He is 1 for 4. The one hit was a single in the 6th inning. He grounded out to second his last time up. The second baseman for Brewster tonight. Still not very much visibility here late in this ball game. The wind perhaps picking up. It's been blowing in all game. Kind of uncharacteristic for this ballpark. Waiting on a 0-1 pitch to Malfetta. Here it comes. It bounces in front of Trainer, who blocks it well. Counts 1-1. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning here in Brewster. The Whitecaps trail 4-1 after getting a run across in this frame. Malfetta at the plate. It's Graffinino on second. And Hunter Bishop, who does have some power. We saw him hit a home run just a couple of days ago, on deck for Brewster. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Check swing on a pitch that was outside. They say he did go, says first base umpire Rick Delvecchio. So the Red Sox are a strike away now. It's 1-2 on Bishop, or on Malfetta with Bishop on deck. Getting ahead of myself there. YD trying to finish this season undefeated against Brewster. The Whitecaps are 0-3-1 against the Red Sox. It's the one team they haven't beaten. They do have one more game tomorrow at Red Wilson Field, these two. 1-2 pitch. Gets away from the catcher Trainer, and Graffinino will move to third. Malfetta didn't swing, so it's 2-2. Another wild pitch. Second time that we've seen Graffinino move up in this inning on a wild pitch. The third for YD. Brewster also had 2, so 5 for this game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out. The second baseman, Christian Malfetta, on deck. I think Brendan Nail is still out there warming for YD. There is somebody just ready and waiting out there in the pen. 2-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch to Malfetta. It's swung in line foul right side. Just whizzing past the YD bullpen on the first base side. And we'll do it again. Good job to battle here for the infielder out of Stanford. Marty Costas started this inning with a single. Gasper was hit with the pitch, then a fielder's choice ground ball made the force out at second, cut Gasper out of the equation. That was off the bat of Graffinino. Then Curry hit another ground ball that allowed Costas to score from third. That's the one run in this bottom of the 9th. Whitecaps trailing 4-1. The pitch to the righty. Hit on the ground, first base. It gets into right field for a base hit. Graffinino comes in to score. Malfetta does his job. A ribby single, as it looked like the first baseman Rivas had a play on that, but it whizzed past him and into right field. And now Hunter Bishop will come up as the tying run with 2 runs in a 4-2 ball game in favor of YD in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, just a nice job there by Christian Malfetta. Made Parsons work there in that at-bat and then came out with a victory with a single in that at-bat. And that's his 9th RBI of the year, so Malfetta doing his job exactly as you said, brings Graffinino home.
The pitch to lefty Bishop. Misses low on an off-speed pitch to make the count 1-0. Bishop is still waiting on his first hit of this ball game. Was hit with the pitch in the 6th and reached there, and now Scott Pickler is heading to the mound. Could this be it for Parsons after dealing a ball to Bishop? It is. Pickler takes the baseball and will call on some relief. I don't think that's Brendan Nail coming out, or We'll see who it is in a moment. We'll get back to you. Lefties coming out of the pen for YD. We're in the bottom of the ninth, and the tying run is at the plate for Brewster. Don't you dare go anywhere. The Whitecaps trail 4-2 in the ninth inning on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster. If you've just joined us, you picked the perfect time. We're in the bottom of the ninth inning of this ball game. The Whitecaps are trailing 4-2, but they have the tying run at the plate in Hunter Bishop. Christian Malfetta just singled in the Whitecaps' second run. Both runs for Brewster scored in this ninth inning. The first on a ground ball off the bat of Michael Curry, and then that single from Malfetta to bring in the second. It's Hunter Bishop at the plate for the Whitecaps. As I was mentioning before we went to break, he has not gotten a hit yet, was hit with a pitch and reached in the sixth inning, and it is indeed Brendan Nail who is being called upon to try and get this final out. A 1.15 ERA for him. This is appearance number 14. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Kind of a half swing there from Bishop on a breaking ball low. And the count is 1 strike. Brendan Nail likes to attack with the fastball. He's got good stuff. Not afraid to use it. Runner on first base with 2 men out. In the bottom of the ninth inning. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Out in front of that one was Bishop, right when I was talking about his fastball. It's 1-2. That one ball was inherited from Parsons, who was pulled with a 1-0 count. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 strike away are the YD Red Sox from winning this ball game. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the ball game is over. Fooled him with a breaking ball, and Brendan Nail comes in and throws 3 strikes. How's that for a relief appearance, slamming the door on the Brewster Whitecaps? So Brewster, they get 2 runs in this ninth inning on 3 hits. They leave 1 runner on, but it's not enough for them to make the comeback. And after a tense affair here at Stony Brook Field, YD wins this ball game 4-2. Maura, what are the takeaways here for Coach Jamie Shevchik? Obviously, it wasn't the A squad that was out in the lineup. This team is a little bit more focused on the playoffs than perhaps this game right here. What did we learn about the Whitecaps today?
Well, I think Drew Revenue, I think the pitching was pretty good for the Whitecaps today. They went out there, did their job. Revenue's not traditionally a starting pitcher for this team, and he held the YD Red Sox to a low-scoring game, and I do just think that the offense has been streaky all year. Sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. It seems like, as Jamie Shevchik likes to say, they like to dig themselves into little holes, and so I think for this Whitecaps team, and the offense in particular, it's about getting out to a lead in every game, as Shevchik would want, but as much as possible.
Yeah, consistency very, very important for this club. All right, we're not done here at Stony Brook Field. We, of course, have the post-game show coming up after this. We'll talk to the player of the game, or Aiden Doyle will talk to the player of the game, and head coach Jamie Shevchik kind of look ahead to when these two teams meet again tomorrow. We'll be going to Red Wilson Field for the second half of this home and home, a Sunday evening ball game. Another 5 o'clock start with another team without lights. We'll be back with the post-game show right after this. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network. Don't go anywhere. The Whitecaps post-game show is coming up right after this.
That was huge for us. It's huge for the momentum going into tomorrow.
Only on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. Back here at Stony Brook Field, it's the Whitecaps postgame show. Carter Badil and Morris Sheridan here with you. The Whitecaps fall in this ball game by a final score of 4-2. YD with the win now moved to 25-13-1 on the year. Brewster with the loss dropped to 18-20-2 on the season. The totals from this game, YD with 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They leave 7 on base. Brewster had 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and 10 runners left on. Andrew Cazada gets a well-deserved win, his 4th straight win in his past 4 appearances, even though this was only his first start of the year. He is now 4-0 on the season. Reveno takes the loss for Brewster. He is 0-1, and Brendan Nail gets his 3rd save of the year for YD. Well, one of the key performances in this game for Brewster was Christian Malfetta. Had that RBI single in the bottom of the 9th inning to cut the deficit to 4-2, and Malfetta is now with Aiden Doyle.
Thanks, Carter, here with Christian Malfetta. Christian, tough day for the Whitecaps today, falling 4-2 to the YD Red Sox, especially offensively. 10 left on base, 7 hits. You, though, 2 for 5, that RBI single to 9th. What was working for you? What did you see out there at the plate?
Their coach calls a different game than most guys in this league, so you kind of have to stick with it, and your first couple at bats are usually tough. But if you're able to stick with your approach, and that's what I did, I stayed with my approach throughout the game, and when it gets dark out, that's kind of something that I could rely on to get a hit. I mean, it was hard to see the ball, but if I was just looking for a pitch away, and I got a fastball away, and I was able to react in time, and I was lucky enough to hit it through the hole.
10 men left on base for the team. How do you think this team finds a bit more consistency offensively over the last few games of the regular season and then heading into the playoffs?
I think, as we get closer to playoffs, after clinching, there's kind of a relief, which can be a trap at times because, we made the playoffs, so we've kind of relaxed. But at the same time, those are quality reps for all of us. So I think as we get closer to playoffs, I think we'll start to see our offense start to click more. We also have a lot of different guys coming in and out of the game right now. Guys playing different positions, so there's a lot of stuff going on, but I think once playoffs get closer, the last couple games of the season, I think we'll start to see guys coming through with runners on base.
The YD Red Sox so far this season are the only team that the Whitecaps haven't beat, and it's a potential, depending on how the seedings play out, first-round matchup for you guys. What do you think gives you guys so much trouble against them? Obviously, they're a good team, but moving forward, previewing maybe, again, a first-round matchup, what do you think you can do to get over the hump against them?
I think if we limit walks and we limit our errors, I think we'll be fine. They take advantage of a lot of mistakes that we make, and I've made a lot of mistakes against them in previous games. We made a couple mistakes tonight. But I think if we play clean defensive baseball, I think we'll be fine.
All right, thanks, Christian.
And it isn't just a first-round playoff matchup they're prepping for. These two teams will meet again tomorrow. That game, once again, at Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth. Brewster and YD. You can listen to that ball game right here on the Brewster Whitecaps radio network. Mora, heading into that game, it's interesting that Christian Malfetta was talking about playing clean defensive baseball because, again, it seems like Jamie Shevchik's old adage about not committing any errors is coming to play here. 2 defensive miscues for the Whitecaps in this ball game. Is there anything that they can do?
I think today was a bit of a tough situation. The Zach Cahagan one, we saw a lot of infield pop-ups today, and not a great play there by him, but it is dark. It was hard to see, and same with the Marty Costas one. That one, he just came in the game. You could argue that he was probably just not ready for that, but it's just 2 tough breaks, but it seems like every time they go errorless, if that's a word, they win the game. And especially against a team like YD that, has speed on the base paths, anytime you let them on, there's a chance that they're coming home. So, they got to clean it up if they do indeed play YD in the playoffs, but they even got to clean it up for tomorrow.
And the man in charge of the club and who'll be addressing that for tomorrow is Jamie Shevchik. Jamie Shevchik is with Aiden Doyle. Aiden?
Thanks, Carter. Here with Coach Shevchik. Coach, the YD Red Sox are the only team that your Whitecaps squad hasn't beaten so far this year. What makes them so difficult?
They're good. They're very good. I think they're solid all the way through their lineup. They've got very good pitching. We did tie once, and we still got a game to play tomorrow. We'll beat them tomorrow. I promise you that. Well, today was a scripted game. We knew exactly which guys we were going to play, and then a handful of substitutes. So I said this before, it's about getting guys some ABs and some time at this point. I don't care who we play in the playoffs. We're not trying to position ourselves to be in a certain spot. Now it's about just preparing our guys for next weekend.
Sound pretty confident going in tomorrow. What do you think the biggest adjustment or what has to change in order to come out with a victory tomorrow in Yarmouth?
Our guys just got to play loose. I mean, eventually, if we do see these guys somewhere in the playoffs, then we have to have the confidence that we can beat them. So I think the attitude will be a little bit different tomorrow. I think we just got to get some momentum on our side. Even though we might not play them in the first round, you never know. We might see them somewhere down the line here. But I think tomorrow will be just a little bit different, a little bit of a better showing.
10 men left on base. Twice you had the bases loaded, once with just one out and didn't score. It seems like this has been a question all season long, but how in the last few games of the season going into the playoffs do you find a bit more offensive consistency or timely hitting?
Well, we're trying to find just a consistent lineup, and that's, I mean, today was not it, obviously. Today was just, like I said before, it was just a total scripted game on it from our part. But I think, tomorrow will be a little bit more of an offensive-minded lineup. We got a good left-hander going with Tribuker tomorrow, and we had opportunities to score runs today and just didn't. And that's maybe right guys not in the right spot, but we're expecting all these guys to contribute at some point in the game. So that's why we're doing what we did today.
Pitching staff, 3 guys who at the beginning of the season weren't even on the roster: Drew Reveneau, Miller, and then Connor McNamara closing it out. What did you see from your 3 right-handers?
They pitched well enough. I mean, we're a hard team to keep under 4 runs. So, I thought they pitched well enough. We made some mistakes defensively that cost us some runs. I mean, really, this game should have been 2-0, 3-0 at best. We just didn't produce anything offensively, and that's going to change. Guys coming off the bench cold, who didn't have an opportunity to get in there from the beginning, their whole mindset changes a little bit. So, like I said, I think tomorrow will be a little bit different. Unless we kick the ball all over the place tomorrow and we don't get good pitching. But I think the offense is going to be there tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Jamie Shevchik very confident in that interview. It sure seems like, I mean, he's not going to come out and say it, but it seems like Jamie Shevchik starting kind of the B squad in this ball game really kind of has impacted his mindset. He's kind of looking at this and saying, well, we didn't have the regulars in, and as he said then, when the regulars come in, they're in a spot that they're unfamiliar with. He sounds like he's going to have a little bit of a more offense-minded lineup, as he put it, tomorrow. What do you think of that decision to kind of handle it in that way?
Well, I think that it's a good decision, not because, again, I don't think it really matters for this team if they play Orleans or YD in the first round. I think if they approach it with a mindset like it seems like they're going to tomorrow, putting guys like Gasper and Marty in the lineup, if you can get that win, you go into that matchup potentially, if you do play YD, knowing you can beat them. Otherwise, you go in having never beat them before, and that's a position you just don't want to be in because, it is the playoffs and it's only a 3-game series. So I think that is a good way to approach tomorrow. And as I'll go back to what Christian Molfetta said, he said sometimes when you clinch, can be a little bit of a trap because you kind of settle into your ways. So if they approach tomorrow with a mentality of, hey guys, this is a big game, we want to get this win, I think it will kind of get people going again and get people out of that trap, so to speak, as Molfetta put it.
All right, so that's what's on the line tomorrow. Again, our coverage starts at 4:45. The game will start at 5 o'clock from Red Wilson Field. That's a tongue twister out there in South Yarmouth. Right here, same bat time, same bat channel on the Whitecaps radio network. Until then, we will bid you adieu from Stony Brook Field. Once again, the Whitecaps fall in this one to YD by a final score of 4-2. For Morris Sheridan, Aiden Doyle, I'm Carter Woodeel. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.